Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please. Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up as a result of a warrant that was issued in 2021 CF 1204. Hey, deputy, can you get that paper away from that microphone? Thanks. As a result of a failure to appear for plea, there's no bond on that, ma'am. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Ray Angeles Alvarado, 08/11/1993.
Thank you. You've been picked up on a couple of matters. The first one is fleeing and eluding a marked patrol vehicle. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,500. You're not to have any alcohol or drugs. Additionally, you've been picked up as a result of DUI with alcohol or drugs as a first offense. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and again, no alcohol or drugs. Thank you. John Biggs. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
John Wesley Biggs, 1979, 12/10/79, December 10th, 1979.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of petty theft as a first offense. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $250. You are not to return to 4795 West Earl Bronson Memorial Highway. It appears that you are out
The
on,
whole highway or just the parking lot where the big car goes?
I just gave you an address.
Oh, okay. That does seem reasonable.
Counsel, is he done?
Sorry, he just finished talking, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Okay. With regard to 2022 CF 1141 and 22 CF 1178, court will be revoking and setting at 0. Thank you. Rafael Davila. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Rafael Davila, April 13, 1973.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up as a result of carrying a concealed firearm. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for direct pretrial release, but the court will not be granting that. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000, and you are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Thank you.
Can I state a question?
You can.
Okay, when I was out there washing my clothes at the...
Sir, I don't want you to talk about the case.
I'm saying,
Nope. Arizmendi Garcia Carrasquillo. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Armando Garcia, January 27, 1998.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of driving with a suspended or revoked license as well as no motor vehicle registration. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause as to both counts. You qualify for direct pretrial release. The court will grant that with the condition of no more driving unless you have a valid driver's license, okay? Thank you. Jose Lopez Cardona. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Jose Lopez, 7/27/65.
Thank you. Ma'am, if you would, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You can lower your hand, and I'm going to need you to speak up because we got court reporter recording everything, so we need to be able to take down what you're saying, okay? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Not you, sir. I'm talking to the victim. Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of battery, simple touch, or strike as a domestic battery. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Ma'am, as a victim in this case, you have the opportunity to address the court with regard to what restrictions you would like to see with regard to his release. It is not a time to talk about what did or did not happen or any facts associated with it. It's simply with regard to release restrictions. With that in mind, what would you like me to consider?
I want him to stay away
Okay, so you don't want any contact? Okay,
for now,
okay. Anything else?
and I want him to seek help for his
Well,
pain.
I can't order that today.
Oh, okay.
That would have to be later on in the case if it ends up being pursued by the state.
Okay.
But you'd like no contact, is that correct? All right, anything else you'd like me to know?
No.
Okay. All right, you qualify for pretrial release with a bond. That bond will be set in the amount of $1,000.
May I inquire of the victim very quickly, Judge?
Sure, Mr. Donnelly?
Ma'am, do you currently live with the defendant?
No.
Does the defendant live near you?
Yes.
Are you both currently staying in a motel?
Yes.
Do you have separate rooms in that motel?
Yes.
How close is your room to his room?
He's on the same building, but the other side of the building.
If the judge were to order that he have no contact and stay 500 feet away from you, is there 500 feet between your two residences?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay, but it is the same building?
Same building.
No further questions, Judge.
Well, I'm not going to allow him to go back to 1620 West Vine Street, period.
Yes,
You'll have to find somewhere else to stay. Additionally, you're not to have any contact with Rachel LeBron. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand? Yes? Okay, thank you. You may have a seat. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Martinez, 1892.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez, you've been picked up as a result of committing domestic battery by strangulation in a domestic violence situation. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release with a bond. That bond will be set in the amount of $2,500. You're not to have any contact with Mariah Martinez. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Additionally, you're not to return to 2420 North John Young Parkway. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Christopher Mitchell, April 10th, 1995.
Thank you. Mr. Mitchell, you've been picked up as a result of battery, touch, or strike and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release with a bond. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $1,000. Count 2, the amount of $2,500. You're not to have any contact with Audrey Hernandez. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. May I ask a question?
Hold on one second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs. Court will be ordering random urinalysis. Yes, sir, what was your question?
We have a 10-month kid. How do I work about me seeing my child?
Well, I can't help you with that today. You'll have to find other means, but you cannot have anyone contact her to see about getting that arranged. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Landon Sparks. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Landon Sparks, 9691.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of trespass after warning. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. You're not to return to 4475 13th Street, and the court will not be taking any action on 21 CF 2299 and 21 CF 2154. Thank you.
Your Honor,
22
the
and
defendant
Mamatino.
would like you to know that he was found ICP in a prior case. I just was notified about that when I
Just
got
3
here. I didn't have a
cases.
chance to look it up to verify that.
I don't have any information before me on that today.
I was wanting to know if I can get PTR or ROR. I was just going to the store.
Sir, please don't offer anything further.
I'm not
No,
worried
no,
about
no,
it.
no,
You
no.
guys knew everything anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you the truth now.
Counsel? Oh, 22 MM18? Oh, that is a traffic cop? For 22 MM18, court will be revoking and setting at 0.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I missed that one. Sorry about that, counsel. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Sean Jewell, Sean, October 7th, 1983.
Thank you. Mr. Joel, do you know what you've been picked up on? You don't know what charges you've been picked up on?
They just picked me up from the store.
Are you sure you don't want the services of the public defender? You don't? Okay. You've been picked up for a sexual offense of exposure of your sexual organs. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. You're not to return to 3447 13th Street. Additionally, it appears that you're out on ROR for 22 MM 730. Court will be revoking that and setting bond at $500. As to 22 MM 820, court will not be taking any action. Thank you.
What does that mean?
That means I'm not going to revoke your bail in that case.
What does that mean?
That means you have bond.
Does that mean I'm leaving today?
If you can bond out, Sir-
What else does that mean?
sir, I cannot give you legal advice. Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on a couple of matters. The first set of charges is fraud to false owner information to a pawn shop for items less than $300, as well as dealing in stolen property. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. It's actually based upon an arrest warrant, which probable cause was found. I concur with that after my review of the charging affidavit as well as the arrest warrant. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $500, count 2 the amount of $150. You're not to return to 2233 Polo Club Drive or to the neighborhood Walmart, and you're to have no contact with Pedro Ortega. Do you understand? Additionally, there's charges for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling with no forced entry, as well as theft of a victim who's 65 years of age or older, in an amount of $300 to $10,000. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit as well as the arrest warrant. The arrest warrant initially found probable cause. I concur with that finding. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $500, count 2 the amount of $2,500. You're not to return to 2233 Polo Club Drive, and you're to have no contact with Pedro Ortega. Do you understand? Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jaime Sotomayor, certified federal interpreter, already sworn today.
Good afternoon, sir. We are in Fort Echo and Osceola doing initial appearances. I will be piping you through the courtroom to the jail. Our first case is 22MM1329. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Buenas tardes, señor. Su nombre y fecha de nacimiento.
Diciembre 18 de 1987. Ángel Mejía Centeno.
December 18, 1987. Ángel Mejía Centeno.
Sir, you've been picked up as a result of battery, touch, or strike.
Usted fue detenido debido a una agresión con toque o golpe.
Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause.
El tribunal ha revisado la declaración jurada y hemos encontrado causa probable.
You qualify for pretrial release with a bond.
Usted cualifica para libertad anterior a juicio con fianza.
That bond will be in the amount of $1,000.
La fianza va a ser $1,000.
You're not to have any contact with Janeth Castro Nieves.
No debe tener ningún contacto con Yáñez Castro Nieves.
No contact means no in-person contact.
No contacto significa ningún contacto ni en persona,
No third-party contact.
ni a través de terceras personas,
No social media contact.
ni a través de los medios sociales.
No telephone contact.
ni por teléfono.
No contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
No contacto en lo absoluto. ¿Usted entiende eso?
Sí, tengo preguntas.
Yes, but I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Adelante.
En caso de que, porque es que el problema es que ella es la que me busca a mí. Yo me podría poner una orden de restricción para que esa persona no se acerque a mí.
Well, my problem is that she's the one who's seeking me out. Could I get an injunction in order to avoid her from coming near me?
Sir, the attorney will talk to you about that.
La abogada va a hablar con usted. Okay.
Additionally, you are to maintain separate residences,
Básicamente ustedes tienen que mantener residencias por separado.
and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Y usted no puede poseer ninguna arma de fuego ni otra arma peligrosa.
Thank you.
Gracias, eso es todo. Vamos a renunciar a la lectura de los cargos y él ya está consciente de con quién puede tener contacto y con quién no.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Buenas tardes, señor. Por favor, su nombre y fecha de nacimiento.
Wilmer Ernesto Urbina Reyes, 16 de enero de 1987.
Wilmer Ernesto Urbina Reyes, January 16, 1987.
Sir, are you now aware of the charges that you've been picked up on?
Caballero, ¿usted está consciente de cuáles son los cargos por los cuales usted está detenido?
Sí.
Yes.
Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause.
Yo he revisado la declaración jurada de los cargos y entiendo que hay causa probable y motivo fundado.
Bond to be set in the amount of $5,000.
La fianza se va a imponer por la cantidad de $5,000.
You're not to return to 2216 Barbados Court.
No puede regresar al 2216 de Barbados Court.
The attorney indicated that she discussed with you the people that you may or may not be able to have contact with, I presume because she doesn't want me to say it.
La abogada me indica que ya ella conversó con usted sobre las personas con las cuales usted puede tener contacto y con cuáles no. Asumo que es porque ella no quiere que se digan los nombres.
Are you aware of who you're not to have any contact with?
¿Usted ya sabe entonces con quién no puede tener contacto?
Sí.
Yes.
It's the victim as well as other persons. Do you understand that?
Esa es la víctima junto con otras personas. ¿Usted entiende eso?
Sí.
Yes.
As for 22MM1123, court will be revoking and setting at 0.
Muy bien, entonces en el caso 22 MM1123 se va a revocar la fianza y se va a imponer una fianza de 0, no hay fianza.
Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Muchas gracias, puede sentar. Your Honor, could the interpreter get the number for this case?
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please. Thank you, sir. You've been picked up as a result of a capias that was issued, resulting from an order directing clerk to issue the capias. That order was entered on October 4, 2021. There's no bond on that, sir. Thank you.
22 MM 3963 Sharber, Andrea Sharber.
She's approaching, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe there was an offer to resolve her case yesterday.
Time served offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and accept that.
Trying to find it.
Is that Ms. Sharber next to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and from the Public Defender's Office, please make sure you have all the plea forms ready to go. Are you Ms. Sharber?
Yeah, yes.
Ms. Sharber, you're here for 3 criminal counts, all misdemeanors: possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting officer without violence, and soliciting without permit. Probable cause has been found. I'll stay the bonds. Defense, it's my understanding this is going to be a time-served plea if she chooses to accept that. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. And
Okay,
she
Ms.
did come-
Sharber. Ms. Sharber, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, medicine? Or do you have any health conditions that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on? How do you plead to count one, possession of drug paraphernalia, guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
No contest.
How do you plead to count two, resisting officer without violence?
No contest.
And finally, soliciting without permit.
No contest.
Has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Did you read a plea form?
That on that? Yes.
I'm going to have you stand down. Defense counsel, can you hand her the plea form?
Yep, she has it, Your Honor.
Did you read it, ma'am? You'll
Yes,
need to
ma'am.
answer out loud.
Yes.
Did you sign it?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea?
Yes.
If you were on probation at the time you committed these crimes by entering a plea, do you understand your probation would be violated?
Yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and accept both of all your pleas, finding that you have the benefit of counsel. On all three counts, you're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to time served. You'll be released today. You owe your court costs no later than June 15th of 2023, so that's a full year to pay. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Your case is over. After that, I have Holly Phillips.
Can I get credit time served for Ms. Schreiber, please?
3 days.
Thank you.
Holly Phillips, her case number is Orange County Case 2021 CF 1458180. Ms. Phillips, I do want to advise you that you do have a hold for Volusia County, Florida, but you're here for a charge of grand theft third degree. Yes.
She already addressed, she already went IAMI grant that she's out of counts.
Okay, so we're just addressing the out-of-county Volusia case. Give me a moment. What's her bond? Does she have a bond in Volusia?
$250 bond.
So your bond on the Volusia County case is $250. Your grand theft will be stayed. And do you want a public defender for purposes of while you're in the Orange County Jail?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint them. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, but
It's actually a 500, I think.
yeah, because she has 3 out of counties, but one of them she's supposed to be seen tomorrow. They're add-on charges. All right, so we're good. We're good, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Thank you. The next person I'm addressing is Shavita Mitchum, case 2021 CF 5835AO. Are you Miss Mitchum? Miss Mitchum, good morning. You're here for a violation of community control. Do you need a public defender to help you with your charges? I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender to help you with these cases. And we'll go ahead and stay the bonds. Thank you. The next person I'm addressing is Julio Acosta Diaz.
Your Honor, he is
Yes.
turned over to Osceola County.
He's what?
He was turned over to Osceola County.
Okay, so I'm addressing case 2022 CF 6786. He does have a public defender already. Shall I enter a plea of not guilty and stay the bonds?
Your Honor, I believe Costa Diaz was reset for PC as to the carjacking. The state was given an additional 24 hours to provide a supplement.
What says the state in the carjacking?
At this time, Your Honor, I have no additional information.
So at this point, Your Honor, I would ask for an ROR only as to the carjacking charge.
Judge Cameron set a bond yesterday, Judge Bigney, for $10,000 on that carjacking.
All right, based on the state's, because there's nothing further provided to the court, I will release the defendant as to the carjacking ROR. No PC found. Everything else shall be stayed. Thank you. The next person is Demetrius Odom.
Refuse, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender, reset this case, and stay the bond. Probable cause is found.
I will waive the
After the-
appearance.
All right, thank you. After that is Carrie Pierre, 2022 MO 699AO, disorderly conduct.
Refuse, Your Honor.
And he refused. I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. Okay, thank you. We'll just go ahead and waive. The next person is Sanjay Simpson.
Ron, you're gonna keep his bond at $250?
Yes, I'm staying the bond at $250. Thank you. The next person is Sanjay Simpson.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
Thank you. 2022 CF 6802 AO. Are you Mr. Simpson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Simpson, you're here for charges of burglary of an occupied structure as well as false imprisonment. I do find probable cause. You're also already on probation in other cases, so there is an on-view violation where you'll remain at no bond. On the new charge, I'll go ahead and order no return, no contact, and stay those bonds. So in this case alone, your bond is $5,150. Thank you. After that, I'm addressing. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Can we handle the attorney case?
I'm trying to, but he needs an interpreter. Is that my understanding?
No, this is for Mr. Isom, Michael P3 Isom.
I'm sorry, I can't understand. Which defendant are you saying?
Michael P3 Isom.
Okay, that's a misdemeanor battery DV. Isom, Michael Isom, that's a battery DV.
Okay, I thought he was here on the, I don't have a face sheet. Counsel, good morning. Give me a moment to find your case. What's the case? Somebody have a case number for me?
I do, Your Honor. It is 2022 MM 3974 AO. Michael P. Isom, ISOM, David Jancho on behalf of Mr. Isom, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
And he has a co-defendant, Judge.
Your Honor, that is correct. Her name is Taylor Barton, B-A-R-T-O-N.
Right.
She is represented by Chelsea Simmons with DJ Law, and she is also seated in this makeshift courtroom.
She's trying to come on right now. The Simmons, Attorney Simmons.
Okay, I'm trying to log her on. Give me a moment.
They do it automatically.
We're trying to get her in virtually.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if she will be able to log in. I know that Ms. Simmons told me that she had court in Seminole County this morning. I believe juvenile court, but that she was going to try to log in at 9 o'clock if she was able.
Yeah, she is trying to log in. I'm just trying to get her in the room.
Great.
Stand by, everybody. This is 4C7.
Judge, can you just pass it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass this case until I find that attorney and get her to log on. So everybody's gonna need to be patient with the technology on that. I'm gonna move on and do a few other cases. Let's go ahead and do the Arabic interpreter. Ahmed Fawad Mohammed Mustafa, does he have an attorney?
No, Your Honor, not here.
AB.
I got it. Sir, can the interpreter, maybe needs to. Can they do it with that phone? Did they do it yesterday?
Oh, no, we haven't did it, but I told him I was gonna put it on hold. and then-
Put it on speakerphone and see what happens. Because I can't merge that into this device. Mr. Interpreter, can you hear me?
The speaker doesn't work.
Is it not working up there, Judge? Can you call him? No, I can't call.
Yeah, just
I can't log that call into this call because this is computer and that's landline.
Can you call AB?
Yeah.
Please. We did it.
We did language line yesterday and it worked?
No, we did it on the weekend. What did you push?
We pushed hold and then it pushed something over there. And then it came.
Teleconference? No, not over here.
I didn't judge it.
Is there a teleconference on there?
Give me just a moment. I'm getting AV on this.
We're in the courthouse.
Bonds.
Got a Creole. Got a Creole singing this language.
All right, I just communicated with AV to see if we can get Attorney Chelsea Simmons on, and we're still in standby posture on that. The next case, so I'm on standby on Isom, I'm standby on Mustafa, waiting for that Arabic interpreter. I'm going to keep moving through this docket. Valerie Bernard.
Yes, Your Honor, he's present.
Okay, I do see Chelsea Simmons. I'll take that case next. Valerie Bernard. Ma'am, you're here for a felony charge, case 22CF32560AO. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? Ma'am, do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. Is Freddie Cannon present? Freddie Cannon, corrections, did you have any contact with him?
Your Honor, no, we didn't.
Okay, I do find probable cause for this offense. Based on your criminal history defense, do you want to be heard on bond?
No, Your Honor. I don't have the sheet with the background history, Your Honor, so.
She does have a number of prior misdemeanor offenses, and her last conviction was some time ago. So, ma'am, I'm ordering that you have no contact with Freddie Cannon. You're also not to possess any weapons. You must maintain a separate residence if you live together. And I'm setting bond at $2,500. Do you have any questions for me or your lawyer?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Your first appearance is concluded. Okay, it looks like I now have attorney Chelsea Simmons online. Back on record on Michael Easom. Sorry for the confusion, everybody, with all these structural issues. Back on record on 2022 MM 3974AL. Let's start over. Can I get appearance for attorney from Mr. Isom?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Again, Attorney David Janch on behalf of Mr. Isom.
Okay, Mr. Isom, you're here for a charge of battery dating violence. Ma'am, I do see you on my right side of the screen, so your left. Your name, please.
Taylor Barton.
Ms. Barton, it's my understanding that you're represented by an attorney. Counsel, can you go ahead and put your appearance on?
Yes, good morning. Chelsea Simmons for Ms. Barton.
All right, thank you. Ms. Simmons, what's your position? Have you spoken with your client about contact?
I have. We met yesterday. My client would like to have contact with Mr. Isom, so we would ask the court to allow contact between the two parties.
All right, because of his recent, Mr. Janka, do you want to be heard on his terms of release?
Yes, Your Honor, just briefly. Mr. Isom is a college-educated individual. He's somebody with little or no prior criminal history. I have spoken to him about contact. I know we're not addressing Ms. Barton's case. My client is fine with no violent contact if the court was willing to order that. Mr. Isom does live in Georgetown or near Nashville, Tennessee, and so he would be traveling back. And so ultimately, really what we're asking for, Your Honor, is that he can get a straight bond, maybe whatever the bond schedule is, $2,500 or so. No violent contact, be allowed to travel back to Tennessee. That's what we're thinking, Your Honor. We're not making any argument about the probable cause, although I would note that the arrest affidavit seems to indicate that it may have been self-defense on my client.
All right, having found probable cause, I'm going to set bond. He does have a recent case from about a year ago, and his lack of ties to the community. I'm setting bond at $1,500. I'm ordering no hostile contact. So you can communicate with Ms. Barton, but it is to be no hostile. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you do have any weapons, they do need to be surrendered within 6 hours of you having access to them. And I'm also ordering that you not possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or consume any alcohol. Mr. Janka, anything else on Mr. Isom's case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, everybody, let's switch gears since I have everybody at the podium. The next case I'm addressing is Taylor Barton. That case number is 2022 MM 3975AO. Mr. Janka, if you keep your client nearby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want to be heard on release conditions, Ms. Simmons, for your client?
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask for similar conditions. We would ask for no hostile contact order, a minimal bond, $1,500 on this case, and additionally, she additionally lives out of state, so we would ask that she be allowed to travel back and forth for court dates.
Okay, let me go ahead and get some testimony from Mr. Isom or through his counsel. Mr. Janka, Mr. Isom, do you want contact with Ms. Barton, Mr. Isom?
This is Attorney David Janch on behalf of Mr. Isom. I had the occasion to meet with Mr. Isom this morning upstairs in Horizon. Based on my discussions with him, he is fine with contact or no violent or no hostile contact with Ms. Barton. Is that correct, Mr. Isom?
You'll need to answer out loud, Mr. Isom.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay, Ms. Barton, I'm going to address you and your lawyer. I'm setting your bond at $1,500. You're to have no hostile contact with Mr. Isom, and you're not to possess any weapons. If you do have access to them, you need to surrender them within 6 hours of your release of having access. Ms. Simmons or Ms. Barton, any questions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you for accommodating me this morning.
All right, thank you, everybody. We'll go ahead and close out these cases for first appearance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Arabic interpreter.
Teleconference, where's that about?
The black box.
Here's the black box. Do I have access to the Arabic interpreter?
Hello, ma'am.
Do I have an Arabic interpreter online?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the Arabic interpreter.
What?
Hello.
You hear him? Do I have an Arabic interpreter online?
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Do I have somebody from Language Line on the telephone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in. The interpreter, do you
Okay.
solemnly swear to interpret from Arabic to English and English to Arabic to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
What is your name?
ID number 451760.
Please tell Mr. Mustafa that his bond is $10,000 plus $150.
الو مرحبا صباح الخير. بالنسبة لموضوع الكفالة هي $10,000 فهي بالمحصلة تدفع $150.
You must also surrender your passport.
وممكن أيضا أنه تسلم الباسبورت جواز السفر.
انا ما اعرفش اصلا انا جاي ليه. انا ما اعرفش اصلا الموضوع ايه. انا دخلت الموضوع ده بتاع ايه. انا مش عارف حاجه خالص لان انا ما اعرفش اتكلم انجليزي وما اعرفش حاجه. انا دخلت.
Mr. Interpreter, could you please advise the client not to go into the facts of the case, as this is being recorded and it can be used against him later?
نعم مصطفى أنت حاليا فقط تستمع إلى القرار فقط.
Mr. Interpreter, can you please tell me what he said? Can you translate to English?
Yes, ma'am. I do not know why I am here in the first place. I have very limited English, and I went to a place I do not know about. And because I have very limited English, I could not express myself well. I could not understand the instructions.
So while you're in jail in Orange or Osceola County, I'm going to keep a public defender on your case. Please interpret.
نعم طبعا أنت رح تبقى في السجن وبنفس الوقت أثناء المحاكمة رح يكون معك المحامي العام.
عايز ادافع عن نفسي ان انا لازم حد يكون معايا يعني يتكلم بالعربي لان انا ما اعرفش انا جاي ليه هنا. انا مش عارف جاي ليه هنا. انا ما اعرفش حاجه. انا جاي مع ابني هنا قاعد معاه بساعده لان ابني متجوز واحده عاميه ابني وعنده طفلين. قال لي بابا انا باجي لك مصر. انا مش عارف انا جاي هنا ليه. انا ما اعرفش. اتفاجأت ان بيقبضوا عليا ما اعرفش. ازاي؟ انا ما بشتغلش. انا قاعد راجل قاعد في البيت. قاعد
Slow down. Please interrupt him and interpret back to me.
Yes, I do not know why I am here. And also I am unemployed. I'm staying at home.
انا عايز ادافع عن نفسي ان انا لازم حد يكون معايا يعني يتكلم بالعربي لان انا ما اعرفش انا جاي ليه هنا. انا مش عارف جاي ليه هنا. انا ما اعرفش.
I need someone to listen to me, and I need someone to listen to my story to defend myself.
One moment, please.
Sorry, can you repeat one more time, please?
Mr. Interpreter, stand by. Defense counsel and Mr. Mustafa, stand by.
Yes, ma'am.
I need glasses. What's he here? What's the warrant for? One of your cases is for insurance fraud or scheme to defraud of $100,000 or more. Please interpret.
نعم، واحدة من القضايا اللي عليك هي الاحتيال بالتأمين بمبلغ أكثر من $1,000.
Thank you. And the second charge is also for scheme to defraud, insurance fraud of $100 or of $100,000 or more. Thank you,
والتهمة
sir.
الثانية أيضا.
That concludes your
والتهمة
first
الثانية.
appearance.
والتهمة الثانية أيضا متعلقة بشركة التحايل على التأمين بمبلغ أكثر من $100,000.
Again, there is a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office assisting you with the case. Please interpret.
نسخة من هذه القضية هي مع المحامي العام اللي حيدافع عنك في هذه القضية.
Your total bond is $10,150 US.
مبلغ الكفالة طبعا هعيد لك مبلغ الكفالة مرة أخرى $10,000 و150. $10,000 و150.
Okay, let's move on to the next case. Mr. Interpreter, please disconnect.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Next case number and name is Austin Bradford, 2022 CF 638280. And I have Donna Palaka present. No response. Sir, you're here pursuant to a written information. You are entitled to a bond. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, this was by information. Do you have a factual basis?
One moment, Your Honor.
I'll appoint the services of the public defender. But in the meantime, I'm ordering no contact with the victim. You're to possess no weapons. If you have access to any, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 4 hours of your release. And based on your history, I'm also ordering no consumption of illegal drugs or alcohol. And let me just wait on the factual basis from the state. I saw that.
Your Honor, on January 28th of 2022, defendant hit the victim in the face after an argument before slamming her down. Victim admittedly did try to push the defendant out of their residence before this. Defendant then choked her unconscious after grabbing her neck. Once the victim came through, she called 911. This happened in Orange County.
Okay, I'm also going to order maintain a separate residence. If you have any belongings there, I'll allow for a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. Defense counsel, can you inquire how long Mr. Bradford has lived in Orange County, Florida?
Over a year, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500 or PTR. Which does he want? Actually, strike the PTR. He has a fleeing and attempting. I'm going to just say, I'll keep the bond at $1,500 with the conditions that I previously imposed. Retract on the PTR. The next person I'm addressing is Kendrick Danny. That case number... Are you Kendrick Danny?
Yes, Keith.
Kedrick. You're here for a charge of battery on a person age 65 years of age or older, as well as battery domestic violence. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. Is Byron Anderson or his caretaker present?
No.
Corrections or state, have you had any contact made?
Yes, Sharon, he stated that the victim said that he had to go to work, so he was unable to make an initial appearance court.
All right, you're to have no contact with victim Laverne and victim Byron. You must maintain a separate residence. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you do have any weapons, they need to be surrendered to the law enforcement within 2 hours of your release from jail. No return to where they live. If you happen to live with them, you can go back one time to collect your belongings as long as you are accompanied by a police officer. Based on these facts, I'm not going to do pretrial release. On count one, I'm setting bond at $2,000. On the battery, $100 for a total of $2,100 with those conditions. Thank you, Mr. Danny. After that is last name Donald, case number 2022 CF 6753AO. Your name, please? Sir, you're here pursuant to an arrest warrant. Probable cause has been found in case 22 CF 6753. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender to help you. I'm ordering that you have no contact with victim Bingham, that you maintain a separate residence. You're not allowed to go to where she lives, works, or is known to frequent. You're not allowed to have any weapons. Any weapons need to be surrendered within 2 hours of your release from jail. You are entitled to bond on these cases. I will go ahead and set the following bonds.
Your Honor?
Yes?
With regard to count one, burglary with an assault or battery therein is actually a first-degree felony that's punishable by life.
Would you like him held at no bond?
Can I have one moment, please, Your Honor?
Sure. And he's already out on bond on another case anyway.
No, Your Honor, at this time, the state would have no objection if the court wanted to use its discretion to grant a bond.
Okay, on the burglary of a dwelling with assault or battery therein, I'm gonna set bond at $10,000. On the aggravated battery on a pregnant person, I'm setting that bond at $2,500. And the criminal mischief, $100. So in this case, your bond totals $12,600 with the conditions that I've already put on record. I am also going to address 22 CF 5893AO. You just bonded out on possession of ammunition by a person who committed a delinquent act, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of methamphetamines. One of the conditions of that bond is that you not commit any new offenses, so I'm revoking your bond on that case and holding you at no bond. That concludes your case. Thank you, Mr. Donald. After that, I address.
I'm sorry. On his out on bond, are you appointing us? Because he doesn't have an attorney, it looks like.
I'll appoint the public defender on that case. Are you Ms. Hampton?
Yes.
Is Renald Victor present?
Yes.
Renald Victor. That's. I'm on 22 CF 6861AO. Is
Your Honor.
Renald? Yes.
He is here. He's in jail as well, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Hampton, do you need a public defender to help you with your criminal charge for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. I do find probable cause. Mr. Victor, I need to hear from you, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Victor, how do you know Ms. Hampton?
Oh, we today?
Do you live together?
Hello?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you.
Oh, Your Honor.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you want to have contact with her?
Sure. Your Honor.
Ms. Hampton, do you want to have contact with Mr. Victor?
Yes.
Ma'am, okay, based on the testimony and me finding probable cause, I will give you a bond on this case. Bond in this case is going to be set at $1,500. You're to have no hostile contact with Mr. Victor. You're not to possess any weapons. If you do own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 2 hours of your release from jail. However, you also have a case that's going to keep you in jail. You're on probation in case 20 CF 11898AO. I see that you have you had a private attorney on that case. Do you want a public defender to represent you on your violation of probation?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. I'll treat it as an on view and I'll hold her at no bond in that case. While I have Mr. Victor present, and I've already heard the testimony of Ms. Hampton, I'm going to address Mr. Victor's case. That case number is 2022 CF.
It's an MM, Your Honor.
Do you have the case number?
Yes, 22 MM 4001.
Thank you, State. Mr. Victor, you're in jail for a charge of battery domestic violence. I do find that there's probable cause in that matter. I'll temporarily appoint the services of the public defender, but in likelihood, the likelihood is they will need to conflict out. I will give you a bond of $500. You're to have no hostile contact with Ms. Hampton, and you're not to possess any weapons. If you do, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 2 hours of your release from jail. Do you have any questions, Mr. Victor?
Your Honor.
All right, thank you, everybody. Both of these cases are concluded. After that, I have Carrie Lancaster. Carrie Lancaster. 2022 CF 6864AO. Mr. Lancaster, do you need a public defender to help you with your charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. Is Joy Ice present?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Ice, come on forward. Please put your handbag or your little backpack on the chair. Good morning, Miss Ice. Please raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
You'll need to answer out loud, ma'am.
Sorry, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you took an oath. Do you agree to the oath?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I have a prosecutor in the courtroom, and I have Mr. Lancaster and his lawyer online. They can hear everything you're saying. Ma'am, how do you know Mr. Lancaster?
It's my husband.
And were you living together at the time of this incident?
Yes.
Are you in fear of him?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Are you staying at a local hotel with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Or drugs or alcohol a factor in any of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What says, State, do you have any questions for Ms. Ice?
Miss Ice, do you live in the area? Do you live in Central Florida area?
Jacksonville.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Defense counsel, do you have any questions for Ms. Ice?
No questions, Your Honor.
How would you get back home to Jacksonville? You drive? Who has the car? What?
We brought his vehicle.
And are you allowed to drive that van?
I don't know. I mean, I have it now. That was the only way I had to get here.
Okay. Normally, in your day-to-day activities, are you allowed to drive that van if you needed to get groceries and things like that?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lancaster, I am going to put you on pretrial release. You do qualify.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're going to need to check in with pretrial release. I'm also ordering that you not possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Ice, I do have concerns about your safety. So I'm going to order that he have no contact with you. You can stay in the marital residence. He cannot go back. With the one-time exception, sir, in order to collect your belongings, when you get back to Jacksonville, call local police department. They'll accompany you to the home to collect some personal belongings. After that, you cannot return.
That's his house.
And if you cohabitate there, you're going to have temporary possession of it. I understand it's his house, but you're married. And I'm concerned about your safety and his history. Mr. Lancaster, I'm also ordering that you not possess any weapons. If you do have any weapons, you need to surrender them to law enforcement within 4 hours of your release.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions, defense, for Mr. Lancaster?
Your Honor, could you have a one-time return back to the hotel to gather his belongings? I believe it was Rosen.
Are you still at the hotel?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll need to answer out loud.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
I'll do a one-time return to the hotel. Again, he's going to need to find his own way home to Jacksonville. He can check in at the front desk. He is not to go to the room, and he must be accompanied by law enforcement. I've heard your testimony, Ms. Ice. He does have some history that leaves me with concerns for your safety and his well-being, so I've ordered no contact. Thank you for your testimony. Luck to you. Thank you, Mr. Lancaster. Your case is over. The next case is Darius Boston. Yes, maintain separate residence on Lancaster. Darius Boston, case 2022 MM 4003AO. Mr. Boston, would you like a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. And I do find probable cause for this offense. You're to have no contact with, with the victim in this case, Daniela Boston. Is Miss Boston present? All right, so I'm ordering no contact with her, maintain separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons. If you do own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 2 hours of your release. Sir, I do see that you have children in common. You are not to contact her even for the purposes of the children. And I'm going to set your bond at $500. Thank you. After that, I have Brianna Chorba. Are you Ms. Chorba?
Yes.
Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. Is Joseph Chorba present? Ms. Chorba, you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. I do find that there's probable cause for this offense. I'm going to go ahead and order that you have no contact with Joseph. You maintain a separate residence. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you do own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to local law enforcement within 2 hours of your release. Do you and Joseph live together? Do you and Joseph live together?
Yes, but
I'm going to allow one, he can stay there, you cannot go back there with the exception of a one-time return with the police officer. And I'll go ahead and put you on pre-trial release since you have no history. Thank you. After that is Yvette Clark, 2022 MM 3997AO. Is Jamari Collier present? Okay, no response on Collier. Ms. Clark, you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. Would you like a public defender to assist you with your case?
yes, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. At this time, I will go ahead and set a bond. Your bond is going to be $750. You're to have no contact with Jamari Collier. You must maintain a separate residence. If Collier lives with you, they can stay. You can only go back one time as long as you're accompanied by a police officer, and you're not to possess any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered within 2 hours of your release.
Your Honor.
And comply with Department of Children and Families.
Thank you.
I have children and families.
ECF has been involved in the, I'll let your attorney explain that to you.
DCF is involved with whatever plan they have. Until 3 to 4 weeks, or another judge changes it.
After that, I'm calling UB Esquivel, case number 22MM 3985. Are you Mr. Esquivel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. I'm going to give you some term of release. Do you need a public defender? Do you plan to hire your own attorney or represent yourself?
I need a public.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. You're to have no contact with Ms. Than Briganti. You must maintain a separate residence. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you do own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 2 hours of your release. Again, maintain separate residence. State no history. Any objection to PTR?
No objection, Your Honor.
And I'll put you on pre-trial release. Thank you. Stay in touch with your attorney.
Thank you.
The next case is 2022 MM251AA. Defendant's name is Donald Flanders.
Mental health, Your Honor.
Is Sharon Stubbs, hold on one moment, is Sharon Stubbs present in the courtroom? No response. I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender on the battery charge. I do find probable cause. Defense, do you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, I will waive the appearance.
Can you give me any more information about the mental health hold?
Let's see.
Stand by, everybody.
Your Honor, he just has a mental health hold. He's probably in the mental health screening process right now. There is a hold in place.
All right, at this time, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,000 or mental health PTR if he qualifies. I'm ordering no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered within 2 hours of release. No contact with the victim. Maintain separate residence. One-time return with law enforcement. Thank you. And we'll waive his appearance per public defender. Jasmine Graham is next. Her case number is 22 MM 3999. Is Mark Saunders present? Mark Sanders. Ma'am, you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. Would you like a public defender to help you with your case, Ms. Graham? I'm sorry, what did she say? Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender to assist you with this case. I do find that there's probable cause in this matter. I'm ordering that you not to possess any weapons, weapons to be surrendered within 2 hours of your release. You must maintain a separate residence. Mark Sanders can stay at the address. You're only allowed, do you live together?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll allow one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. Again, surrender any weapons within 2 hours of your release, no contact. Because of your criminal history, I'm going to go ahead and give you a bond of $1,000. Thank you. After that, I'm addressing Michaela Gray, 2022 MM 3990AO. Ms. Gray, you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case? I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender to help you. I'm ordering no contact, maintain separate residence. The victim can stay in the home. You're only allowed to go back one time as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. I'm ordering that you not possess any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered within 2 hours of your release from Orange County Jail. If department is, if the Department of Children and Families is involved, you need to comply with their investigation, but I will put you on pretrial release. Thank you, Ms. Gray. Straight pretrial release with conditions. After that, I'm going to address Daryl Rutland. Rutland's case number is 2022 MM 3976AO. Is Adriana Owens present? Adriana Owens, no response. Give me a moment, Mr. Rutland. Mr. Rutland, do you need a public defender to help you with your case? Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender in this new case. You are entitled to a bond. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Ms. Owens. You maintain a separate residence. I'll allow, she can stay there. You cannot go back with the exception of a one-time return. You're also not allowed to have any weapons. If you do have any weapons, weapons need to be surrendered within 2 hours of your release. You also need to comply with the Department of Children and Families investigation. You also have an open case. That case number is 2022 CF 3192AO. You're already out on bond, and it looks like you have an arraignment set on June 23rd, and Mr. Lashley represents you in that case. One of the conditions of being out on bond is to not get arrested and not commit new offenses. So at this time, I'm going to revoke your bond as to all counts and hold you at no bond.
I'm sorry, what was the bond amount for the original charge, the new law offense?
I'll set bond at $1,500. Next person is Calvin Vasquez Luna, case number 2022 MM 398280. Aisha Cruz Garay, is she present? Come on up, ma'am. Ma'am, please raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you?
What is your name?
Aisha Cruz Garay.
Okay, let me speak with Mr. Vasquez. Mr. Vasquez, you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. Do you need a public defender? Do you plan to represent yourself or hire your own attorney?
Hire our own attorney.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Hire my own attorney, ma'am.
You're gonna hire your own attorney? Okay, so let me talk to Ms. Cruz. Ms. Cruz, how do you know Mr. Vasquez?
He's the father of my child.
Are you living together? Do you feel safe living together?
Yes.
Are you in fear of Mr. Vasquez?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Were drugs or alcohol a factor in any of this?
No.
So, state questions for Ms. Cruz?
No, Your Honor.
Defense counsel, do you have any questions for Ms. Cruz?
Your Honor, he said he didn't want a public defender.
Oh, that's correct. All right. Mr. Vasquez, how long have you lived in Orlando?
For about 6 years, maybe. Ma'am, about 6 years, ma'am.
Sir, I'm going to give you a bond with conditions. The bond is going to be higher because I see that you have an open case in Pasco County. Here's your bond. Your bond is $1,500.
Yes, ma'am.
You're to have no hostile contact. Is your English good?
Yes.
Okay, because at one, I see some notes. He cannot do anything to harm, threaten, scare, or intimidate you. Mr. Vasquez, you're not allowed to have any weapons. If you do have any, they need to be surrendered within 2 hours of your release. You're not to possess, and you're not to possess any illegal drugs or have any drug paraphernalia.
Okay, ma'am.
Mr. Vasquez, do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
And Ms. Cruz, do you have any questions for me?
No.
And you feel comfortable and you have no concerns about the safety for yourself or your child?
No.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, thank you. You can bond out. Shepherd. Last name Shepherd. Are you Mr. Shepherd?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Shepherd, you have a warrant out of Seminole County, Florida, and your bond is $2,000. You also have a hold out of Escambia County for petty theft, and that bond is $2,000. So your total bond amongst these two cases is $4,000. Will you be able to post that bond within the next day?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
Okay, for purposes of you being in the Orange County Jail, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office. That concludes your case, Mr. Shepherd. Hakeem Ali, 2013 CF 6077AO. Mr. Ali, you're on probation. Give me a moment. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. Sir, you're on probation for charges of burglary of a dwelling as well as grand theft. I'll go ahead and stay the bonds. Thank you. Roger Avery Martin is next.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Martin, you are here in case 2019 CF 16319AO for a violation of community control. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. It's alleged that while on community control for petty theft with 2 priors, you tested positive. You do have a bond. That bond is $5,000. Thank you, sir. Montavious Williams is next. 2019 CF 17535AO. Mr. Williams, you're here for a violation of probation for the underlying offense of aggravated assault. Would you like a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint the services of the public defender. It's alleged that you didn't comply with your special terms of conditions, special conditions of probation, to wit, community service hours. You're going to be held at no bond. Thank you. All right, it's my understanding that either the state or defense requested a move-up docket. How long will it be before you're ready at corrections?
30 minutes. 30 minutes, Your Honor.
State and defense, can you be ready in that amount of time?
Your Honor, if possible, can we have an hour?
We'll round it up to an hour. Can you be ready, defense?
That's okay, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll see everybody back on.
Did you have the RRs?
Oh, I'm sorry, I overlooked the RORs. Let me go ahead and do those, but for purposes of taking the bench for session 2, I'm going to start that at 11:10. Let's go ahead and roll to the RORs. 2022 CF 395AO. Defendant's name is Requarius Antonia Malik Davis. State, did you file?
Yes, Your Honor, denied. Information was filed.
Thank you. After that, I have Kishan Arkeem Francis. Mr. Francis's case number is 2022 CF 5434AO. State?
Granted, notice of non-filing.
I'll go ahead and grant. After that, I have Hudson Reynolds, first name Kiona, 2022, MM 190AA. What says the state?
Granted, notice of non-filing.
After that, I have Dion Martin, felony case number 2022 CF 5347AO. What says the state?
Granted, notice of non-filing.
I don't see a notice in, but I'll take the state's word on that, so I'll go ahead and grant it. After that, I have Sean Anthony Mascara. His case number is 2022 MM 3223AO. State?
Granted, notice of non-filing.
All right, I'll go ahead and grant the same. That one's premature, right?
I haven't checked on it, Your Honor.
Yeah, that is premature. He was arrested on 5.
Your Honor, is it possible that we can turn down the volume for the jail?
Jail, can you turn down the... Yeah, there's a lot of feedback. Jail, can you hear me okay, BRC?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. That's the best I can do with it. What are we doing on Sean Mascara? I know you said granted, but this was filed on day 30?
On day,
30?
Your Honor, if a notice of non-filing has been filed,
It is not in the file.
then it's premature, Your Honor. I would ask that you deny it.
Your Honor, I would object. We're allowed to file on the 30th day per the statute. Our orders state to be released on the 33rd day. If an information is not filed per the statute, we are allowed to file on the 30th day.
Yeah, but you filed it prematurely even before that, because you filed it on 6/13.
Okay.
And there's 30 days in November, 31 days in May, so. I'm going to go ahead and deny it. Gabrielle Mayor Quinn, 2022, CF 4846AO. Actually, can I have that one back? Mascara? Yeah, mascara. Information has been filed, denied. Jonathan.
I missed it, Your Honor. Which case?
Mayor Quinn.
Mayor Quinn.
I'm now on Jonathan Morris, 2022 CF 5425AO. Mr. Morris, motion for ROR. Nothing has been filed.
Your
What's that
Honor,
state?
Your Honor, I believe an information has been filed and also a request for administrative transfer from a felony to misdemeanor.
Okay, that's not in the file yet, but based on your representation, I'll go ahead and deny it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What says defense?
It's really low. I'm trying to, which case are we on?
Jonathan
Number 2.
Morris.
No. Objection, Your Honor.
Bianca Torres. Ms. Torres's case number is 2022 CF 3728AO.
Denied. Information was filed.
And I see that.
Bianca Torres. It's harder to hear.
Let me go ahead and readdress misdemeanor case 22 MM 3223AO.
You can just, I don't know. I couldn't.
And on Sean Mascara, I'm going to go ahead and grant it if the defendant, if there's no information filed by the 33rd day, which would bring us till tomorrow. Thank you, or 2 days from now. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you back at 11:10. How far ago did I?
The inmate number.
Court's in recess. Actually, stand by. There's a gentleman in here. I'm not sure what's holding him. What case is he on? State any or deputies?
The inmate number is 220-13648.
648.
Devontae Robbins?
Yeah.
Bonded.
That's what, okay, thank you. And also, Robbins.
Robbins bonded.
Yeah, he bonded.
Yeah. Your Honor.
She had 2.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Was it Allen County?
Well, he had one. Just only addressed that one. I was
Okay.
just telling.
Oh,
he had
okay.
a detainer at
Okay,
Escambia.
thank you.
State, do you know why this gentleman is here and what his name is?
I apologize, I can't hear you.
Do you know why he's here and what his name is?
His name is Louis. He is a defendant. He got out of jail yesterday. He was told to come to court today.
Do you have any paperwork, sir? Spell your last name. What's your first name? Luis. Louis, what's your middle initial? I don't even see him.
Oh. I have to go upstairs and check.
Mr. Arroyo, do you have an attorney? Mr. Arroyo, can you come forward? PRC, can you turn your speakers down, your mixer, if that's possible? Mr. Arroyo, I don't know why you're here. I don't have any information. Who texted you to be here today?
It was the bail bond.
Can you ask the bail bondsman what your case number is?
I have to call him.
Okay, go ahead and do that. We'll see you back at 10 minutes after 11.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. You're going to need to know your case number. And for the record, I could not find him on a name search in Odyssey. I couldn't find a Louis Arroyo of the 128 cases with an open case. Okay, we'll be in recess till 11:10 rather. All right, everybody, sorry for the delay. I'm Judge Bigney covering initial appearance and BRC work. Can I get appearance for the state and the public defender's office?
Brenda Eugene on behalf of the State Attorney's Office.
Letitia George on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Okay, first case up is Move Up, Kenneth Miller, 2022 MM 3994AO.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Miller. Can you hear me okay?
Very well.
Mr. Miller, you're here for a charge of trespass on property after warning. I'll go ahead and stay the bond. In the alternative, it would be a 4-day jail offer with credit for 2, so you'd be released in a couple of days. Do you need a lawyer, Mr. Miller, yes or no?
Just can I have a moment, Your Honor, because I told him the state's offer, so he didn't know about the additional days.
No, with that history, it's a 4-day offer.
2 days. Is that okay? He stated that's what Your Honor, he would like to accept and enter.
Okay, so this is a pro se plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, how do you plead to the charge of trespass on property after warning? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, Your Honor.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this crime, by playing today, your probation would be violated. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you are not a United States citizen, by playing today, you will be subject to deportation. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll go ahead and, did you sign a plea form and read it?
Yes, I did.
I'll go ahead and accept your plea of no contest. You're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 4 days with credit for 2 days. You owe your court costs within 1 year, no return to the 7-Eleven. That concludes your case. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Do I go Spanish interpreter now?
Yes. They're gonna shoot like
Let me go ahead and get the interpreter on. Okay, I'm in courtroom 7C, but I'm connected with BRC 1. Can somebody at BRC do a sound check on the headsets?
There is no headsets, Your Honor.
Okay, Madam Interpreter, you can't hear me? I'll reconnect, thanks. Got it.
They call them.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Arroyo, State Certified Interpreter and previously sworn.
Good morning, Ms. Arroyo. This is Judge Bigney. I'm in 7C covering BRC 1 temp. Can you,
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you do a sound check so they can hear you at BRC?
I'm a little confused. I'm sorry. My understanding is BRC is being done on the PA system, so there's nothing I can do on my end.
Okay. Can you all hear me at the BRC and the interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. First case, 22MM3981. Sir, are you Brian Correa Padilla?
Señor, ¿es usted Brian Correa Padilla?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you need a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case?
¿Acaso requiere usted un defensor público para ayudarle en este caso?
Sí.
Yes.
I'm going to reduce your bond to $1,500.
La fianza se reducirá a $1,500.
You're not allowed to have any weapons.
Usted estará prohibido tenencia de cualquier tipo de arma.
And no return to the Dunkin' Donuts.
Y prohibido regresar al Dunkin' Donuts.
Thank you. Your case is over.
Gracias. Hemos concluido con este caso.
Corrections. Is there anybody else who needs a Spanish interpreter while I have her online? I believe that's the only one.
No, Your Honor. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Royal. We'll disconnect.
Thank you. The interpreter will disconnect.
Ron, is that a no contact order?
No return.
No return, okay. Let me see that.
Jeremiah Parkinson.
Thank you.
Mr. Parkinson, you're here for felony charges. Do you need a public defender to help you with all your charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. Okay, community control. So there might be a hold on you in the future. Yes, counsel.
Were you able to, I was able to pull up one. I couldn't see any of the facts on my end. It was a little confusing. I know it was transferred from juvenile. It looks like,
Okay, so probable cause has already been found pursuant to Judge Craner's warrant, capias on it. So do you demand for discovery? And for the record, yes?
I know the issue we've been having on our end is we've been having issues obtaining the affidavit because probable cause is ongoing, Your Honor. I didn't know if the state had access to the warrant.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and address it. Case
Yes,
21 CF 2286, you're here for a battery on a uniformed or licensed security officer and resisting officer without violence. On count 1, I'll stay the bond at $2,500. On count 2, I'll modify to $100. In case 21 CF 2287, you're here for burglary of a conveyance. I'll stay the bond at $3,500. You're also here for illegal possession of stolen credit cards, fraudulent use of credit cards, petty theft, burglary of a conveyance, unlawful possession of credit cards or debit cards, and another count of illegal or fraudulent use. All those bonds, I will stay the bond. You're to have no contact with any of the victims. The Public Defender's Office will assist you with your case. Thank you, Mr. Parkinson. Okay, the next case I'm addressing is Vincent Widger. Mr. Widger, good morning. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll appoint them. 22 CF 6869AO. You're here for count 1, lewd lascivious exhibition to a person under the age of 17 and indecent exposure of sexual organs. I do find probable cause. On count 1, I'm setting the bond at $3,000. On count 2, I'll set the bond at $100. No return to the scene of the crime. You're not to possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs. And you're to have no contact with anybody under the age of 18. Defense counsel, I'll give you a moment to confer to see if he needs to have legitimate contact with anybody.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Next person I'm addressing is Derek Brooks, case 2022 MM3987AO. Good morning, Mr. Brooks. You're here for a charge of trespass on property after warning. If you would like to resolve your case today, the offer is an adjudication, 2 days jail with credit for 1 day time served and no return. Otherwise, I would stay the bond. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? I'll appoint the public defender.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, so you're giving him a day, basically?
Yes, he has some history.
That he'll accept the offer, Your Honor.
Did he do a plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, how do you plead to the charge of trespass after warning? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you were on probation at the time you committed this crime, by pleading today, your term of probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, at this time, I'll go ahead and accept your plea of no contest. You're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 2 days with credit for 1 day. Pay your court costs within 1 year and no return to the scene of the crime. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. The next person I'm addressing is Marco Kaysen, 2022 MM4000. Mr. Kaysen, you were arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. Corrections, does he have any history?
Your Honor, he has no priors.
Sir, if you would like to resolve this case today, the offer is a withhold plus court cost. Otherwise, I would release you ROR, but you would need to appear for your next court date. Do you need a public defender to help you with this case?
Oh, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint the services of the public defender. Defense counsel will give you a moment to confer with him.
Your Honor, he would like an ROR.
I'll go ahead and release you ROR. You're not to go back to that 7-Eleven and appear for all future court dates. Stay in touch with your attorney. Thank you. After that, I have Victor Daniels, Victor Daniel Cordero.
Refuse, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender in case 22 MM3998AO. I do find probable cause. I'll go ahead and stay those bonds. In case number 2022 MM2378AO, I'll appoint the public defender if he doesn't have one already. I'll revoke his release in that case, but I will give him a new bond. On count 1, I'll set the bond at $2,000. On count 2, set the bond at $200. Defense counsel, he does have 30 days in on that, so you may want to talk to the trial division.
Your Honor, I wanted to see if we could see if he would come tomorrow. There is an offer to resolve that one and potentially the out on bond.
It was a refusal? Let me check something. State, do you know if he refused at his last court hearing on the in 2022 MM 2378? If you know.
I do not, Your Honor.
Let's see if I can.
I'm going to do the same.
Let me see, Your Honor, if I could pull that up. His last arrest.
That's what we found.
We had 1 week, 20. Yeah, the 1 week.
If it's a time served offer, I'll go ahead and reset that case till tomorrow.
Thank you.
Both cases I'll recall tomorrow.
For Cordero, Judge?
Cordero, yes. Dawson,
Stay in the bond?
I'm going to stay at the bonds, but I'll recall him tomorrow. Is your last name Dawson?
Yes, ma'am.
2022 MM 3996AO. I find probable cause for the offense of resisting officer without violence. If you would like to resolve your case today, a withhold and time served is the offer. If not, I will stay the bonds. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
No.
How do you plead to the charge of resisting?
Yeah. Oh, yes, sorry. Yes.
You want a public defender?
Yes. She's right here. Sorry, she was confused. She thought you meant private attorney. Yeah, sorry. Your Honor, we would ask that you stay the bond because she'll probably qualify for pretrial diversion.
All right, I'll go ahead and stay the bond. Thank you. Tiana Dakotas is next. Tiana Dakotas, 2022 MM 4002.
Your Honor, she is approaching.
Thank you. Corrections. Are you Ms. Dakotas?
Yes, ma'am.
I find probable cause for the charge of trespass on property after warning. The offer is an adjudication 3 days. You do have credit for some days' time served with no return. Otherwise, I would stay the bond. Do you need a lawyer, yes or no?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, because there was offers that I had already relayed, so can I just have a moment just to let her know? So it's that I had time to already She would like to accept that. And she
Ma'am, how do you plead to the charge? Is she doing it pro se or with counsel?
Pro se, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Dakotas, how do you plead to the crime of trespass on property after warning? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand what it means?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medicine that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
If you were on probation, do you understand by entering a plea, your probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll give you a moment to read and sign the plea form.
Yes, ma'am. I read it.
Did you sign it?
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
counsel. At this time, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days with any credit for time served, 1 or 2. And that's 2 days. No return to the Super K and pay your court costs within 1 year. That concludes your case. You'll be released. The next person is Mary Lucy Lozano. Will she qualify for PTR?
We weren't able to verify any community ties, Your Honor. She didn't give us any information.
Ms. Lozama, where do you live?
5424 Long Road.
What's your name?
Mariluz Lozama.
What's your address?
5424 Long Road, Orlando, Florida 32808.
How long have you lived there?
For 5 months now.
Do you get mail there?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you plan on moving anytime soon?
No.
Ma'am, you were arrested for misuse of a 911 phone line. I find probable cause. I'm going to put you on pre-trial release. Do you need a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint the Public Defender. Stay in communications with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is Shohi Sima, 2022 MM400680. Sir, you were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bond. Do you need a lawyer for the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do have an option for pretrial release, which I will consider. What's your apartment number?
813.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Oh, it's 813. The apartment.
13?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and do you have an email address and phone number?
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you had your phone number for?
Probably more than 12, 15 years. I've
Okay.
had it
So in the alternative, I'm going to give you an option for pretrial release. You're to have no return to the scene of the crime.
since, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. PTR or state bond. The next person is Damian Sazo.
Here.
22 MM 4004. Are you visiting Orlando, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you were arrested for resisting officer without violence and petty theft. Do you need a public defender that's a lawyer to assist you with your case? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender. When you were arrested, you did corrections. What grade are you in?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how long are you visiting for?
I'm leaving, as soon as I leave here, I'm leaving. So, like, by tomorrow, I'm leaving. Or today.
What kind of bond can you afford?
Like, right now, I can't, I mean, kind of.
Okay, based on the circumstances, I'll put you on pre-trial release. Thank you.
Any conditions?
No. The next person is John Lance Jordan, 2022 MM1744. Yes, officer.
Refuse, Your Honor.
All right, he failed to appear previously. I'll go ahead and stay the bond at $2,000. Does he already have a public defender on his case?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, the public defender's office will stay on his case. After that, I have D'Angelo Alston, 2022 MO70380. Sir, you're here for a crime of disorderly conduct, which amounts to facts that are panhandling. If you would like to resolve your case, it's a time-served offer with a conviction. Would you like to accept that offer?
Yes.
How do you plead to disorderly conduct? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And did anybody force you to say no contest?
No.
Do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed this crime, by pleading today, your probation would be violated? If you're not a United States citizen, do you understand you would be subject to deportation?
Yes.
Did you read and sign the plea form?
Yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and accept your plea. You're being adjudicated guilty. You have 1 year to pay your court costs. It's a time-served sentence. Thank you. Your case is over.
What's the
Frank Lipsy is next.
Behavior, Your Honor.
I'm not about to wait for everybody to get done.
We didn't say everybody.
What in the world?
What happened to Joel Ortega?
What? I haven't called. Where's Frank Lipsy?
Behavior, Your Honor.
Okay. On record on 2022 CT 3269AO, Frank Lipsy has a charge of driving with license suspended. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the services of the public defender. He also has an open case, 21 CF 4423, where he missed his court date. I'll have him remanded on those cases, and he'll stay the bond at no bond. The next person is Deutsch Elsie. Sir, you're here in case 2022 CF 3748. Oh, you missed your court date for resisting officer without violence and possession of a firearm by convicted felon. You'll continue to be held at no bond, and the public defender's office will continue to help you. Thank you. The next person is Crystal Allen. State, do you have an offer on the petty theft?
I didn't, Your Honor, no.
Are you Miss Allen? Miss Allen, you're here in case 2022 CF 6867AO. I find probable cause for possession of a controlled substance. I'll stay the bond at $1,000. You're also here in 2022 MM 327 for petty theft. I find probable cause. I'll modify that bond to $100. No return to that Walmart. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint them. The next person I'm addressing is Wilfredo Balakir. Sir, you're here in case 2022 CF 6592. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? Do you need a public defender? Yes or no, sir? I'll appoint the services of the public defender. As I said, you're here for failure to report as a sexual offender. You are entitled to a bond. I'm going to set your bond at $2,000. Within 24 hours of your release, you do need to report and comply with your reporting requirements. That concludes your case. Thank you. The next person is William Baston.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
2022 CF 5099. Mr. Baston, do you need a public defender to help you with your case? I'll go and appoint them. You're here for failure to report as a sexual offender. I will give you a bond. Based on your history, your bond is $3,250, and you have 1 business day to comply with all reporting requirements. Thank you, Mr. Baston. $3,250. David Burgess is next. Mr. Burgess, you're here for an Orange County court case, 2022 CF 684.
Your Honor, we don't have an doctor.
What?
Burgess is medical, Your Honor.
Burgess is medical? Okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
who do you have in front of me?
Bowman?
Bowman?
Okay, I'm going to address Bowman, and then I'm going to go back and readdress Burgess. Bowman, 2020, Ms. Bowman, Public Defender's Office, do you represent her? Okay. 2021 CF 16021. You're here because you missed your court date for possession of Eulatone. I'm staying that bond at $1,000. In 2022 CF 3301AO, you missed your court date for possession of methamphetamine and possession of paraphernalia. I'll stay those bonds. Your total bond is now $2,100 between these two cases. You also have a new charge for possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. You do have a lawyer. It's a time-served offer. Alternatively, the bond is $500. Does she want to accept the time-served offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, how do you plead to the charge of possession of drug paraphernalia? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And did anybody force you to say no contest?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medicine that's preventing you from understanding what's going on?
No.
Did you read and sign the plea form?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed these offenses, by pleading today your probation would be violated?
Yes.
And if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Based on your plea with counsel, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served on the paraphernalia charge, pay your court costs within 1 year. That concludes your misdemeanor case. Thank you, Ms. Bowman-Gelman. I'm going to go ahead and readdress Burgess. I believe you said he was medical?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll appoint the public defender in all cases. PD's office, he has no bond warrants out of Volusia County as to all counts. He also has case 22 CF6847 for carrying a concealed firearm. I'll stay that bond at $1,000. Thank you. Kayla Davis is next. Miss Davis, do you need a public defender to help you with your new charge?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint them in 2022 CF6852. You were arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause, and I'll go ahead and stay those bonds. You're also out on bond in case 2022 CF2921AO and 2022 CF3054AO. There has been no filing decision, but one of the conditions is that you not commit new law offenses, so I'm revoking your release on both of those cases. I'll give you a new bond of $2,000 per case and count. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Thank you, Caitlin. The next person I'm addressing is Joshua Dixon.
Behavior, Your Honor.
In 2022 CF6824, I do find probable cause for possession of meth and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'll stay those bonds. In case 2022 CF6604 and 05, he was arrested for possession of cocaine. I'll go ahead and stay those bonds as well at $1,000 per charge. John Albert Harrison. Good morning, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison, you're here for a few different cases. Do you need a public defender for your new charges? I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender in case 2022 CF6838. You were arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I'll stay that bond at $5,000. Tampering with physical evidence, I'll modify to $150. And alteration or removal of a firearm serial number, I'll stay that bond at $100. Sir, you're also out on bond in case 2022 CF963AO for failure to register as a sex offender. On that case, I'm revoking your release, holding you at new bond. Please let your attorney from Regional Conflict know that you are incarcerated. You do have a court date tomorrow. Also comply with all reporting requirements once you're released within 1 day. The next person I'm addressing is Jamar Jarvis. Good morning, Mr. Jarvis. You were arrested in case 2022 CF6831 for possession of methamphetamine, resisting officer without violence, and trespass on property after warning. Do you need a public defender?
Yes.
I'll appoint the public defender and stay all the bonds. Your total bond is $1,200. Defense counsel. Tyrone Johnson has 2 CT case numbers, one for driving with license suspended and one for no valid. If he would like to resolve those cases, I will time serve him on both. Do you need a moment to confer him with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Your Honor, he would like to accept your offer.
Okay. In case 2022 CT 816AW, driving with license suspended with knowledge, how do you plead? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest, Your Honor.
And in case number 2022 CT 422AA, how do you plead to no valid driver's license?
No contest.
And did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson, do you are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
If you were on probation at the time you committed those crimes, by pleading today, do you understand your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
CF cases or CT?
CTs. Just the CTs.
Tyrone Johnson?
Yes, sir, ma'am. If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand you would be subject to deportation by entering a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read and sign a plea form?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
As to each of these cases, I'm adjudicating you guilty and sentencing you to time served. You have 1 year to pay the financial obligations on those traffic criminal cases. On all other cases, I'll go ahead and stay the bonds.
Your Honor, he's here for a 6-8 case, 2022 CF 6849 and a
49.
2020. Is this Tyrone Johnson?
It is. Give me just one moment.
Yeah, these are two add-on cases. He's been seen by the other cases.
The 2022 CF?
Yes, 6849 AO and 2022 CF 6848, two add-on
Okay.
charges. The other cases, he was already IA'd.
I didn't have,
You didn't have 6848.
give me a moment.
He was.
I got him now. Thank you. I just need to find PC.
Excuse me.
So I'm going to start. I have 2 more cases to address with you. Case number 2022 CF 6848. You were arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions, and I do find probable cause. Rather than, this was alleged to have occurred on or about May 6th. Rather than taking action on your other out on bond cases, I'm going to give you a higher bond in the case ending in 4-8 and set bond at $5,000. The next case I'm going to address is case number 2022 CF 6849.
Raise this to 5,000. You did what? Raise it to 5,000.
I do find probable cause for a charge of petty theft with 2 priors.
The other cases he's
You said she raised it. Okay.
Oh, that's what.
And I'll take no action on the other cases, but on this case, I'm also going to modify that bond and increase it to $2,500, no return to Dollar General.
That's in 6849, Judge?
Yes, ma'am.
$2,500.
Your Honor, that should also be for 6848. It's the same location that he keeps going back to.
Okay, thank you.
Listen, so,
All right, that concludes your case. Thank you. Speak with your public defender.
bonds back.
Keith, Brian Keith.
Your Honor, his
Behave.
behavior.
What?
His behavior.
Brian Keith, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender in case number 2022 CF 6825. I do find probable cause, no return, stay the bond at $3,500. After that, I have Gerald Mano. Mr. Mano, I'm addressing 2 felony case numbers. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender in your new case, 2022 CF 5601.
What new case?
And you were arrested for grand theft third degree, criminal mischief, as well as dealing in stolen property. I do find that there's probable cause for those offenses. I'll go ahead and stay the bond. In case 21 CF 11663AO, you already have a public defender. You missed your court date for possession of fentanyl. And give me a moment on that.
What about this criminal mischief?
On the fentanyl, your bond is being stayed at 0, so no bond. Thank you. After that, I have John McManus.
He's present, Your Honor.
Thank you, corrections. Mr. McManus, good morning. Do you need a public defender to help you with your court case?
Yes, Your Honor.
In case 2022 CF 6608AO, I'll appoint the services of the public defender. There's probable cause for failure to report as a sex offender. Based on your history, we'll set bond at $3,000. You must report within 1 business day, comply with those reporting requirements after your release. Thank you. The next person is Michael Modeste. Mr. Modeste, do you need a public defender with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender in case 22 CF 6863. You were arrested for driving with license suspended as a subsequent offender of 3 times or more. I'll stay that bond. But based on that new offense, I'm going to revoke I'm going to hold you at no bond and do an on-view violation of probation in case 2021 CF 11788AO. You'll remain at no bond at all counts. And you also have a public defender. After that is Marisol Perez. Good morning. Are you Miss Perez?
Yes.
Miss Perez, you were arrested for possession of fentanyl. Do you want a public defender?
Yes.
I'll appoint the public defender. If I release you from jail, where are you going to live?
With my mom and dad.
Sorry, what did she say?
With my mom and dad, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to if we can get her verified, I'll put her on pretrial, just court-ordered pretrial release. So you're being released from jail without having to give any money, but I am ordering you not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or not to have any drug paraphernalia. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, good luck to you. Santiago is next.
Refuse, Your Honor.
All right, on Santiago's cases, I'll appoint a public defender in 2022 CF 6856. I'll stay the bonds for fentanyl and methamphetamines. In 2022 MM 3992AO, I find probable cause for resisting. I'll also stay that bond. However, he is already out on bond. In case 2022 CF 4247, I'm revoking that bond and giving him no bond.
Your Honor, based on I don't think the state filed on this. I was arrested in April, in the correct state.
He bonded on May 1st, and it's about a month and a half later, and he's been rearrested. I'll keep him at no bond. The next person is Terry Say. Are you Mr. Say?
Yes, ma'am.
You were arrested in case number 2022 CF 6851. I find probable cause for a charge of petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I'll go ahead and stay that bond. Sir, you were just released from jail at the end of April for possession of amphetamines in case 2022 CF 4814AO. I'm going to revoke your release, but I will give you a new bond on that. Actually, here's what I'll do. I'll put you on pretrial release with drug testing. You're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or have any drug paraphernalia. Testing will be at your expense, and testing can begin anytime after July 14th.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Bond for, Your Honor?
Yeah.
What?
Which one are you putting him on pretrial for with the conditions?
The out on bond, which is 2022 CF 4817.
17, that's,
Four-
14, Judge?
I'm sorry, 4814. Thank you.
Okay. And it's PTR
With testing after 1 month.
with testing after 1 month. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Earl Taver, are you Mr. Taver?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Taver, you're here in case number 2022. Do you need a public defender to help you with all of your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
You're here in case 2022 CF 5041 for retail theft. I'll stay that bond. I find probable cause. You're also here in case number 2022 CF 6068 for retail theft. I'll stay that bond. I find probable cause. You're here for a charge of trespass on property after warning in case 22 MM 3995. I will give him a time served offer if he so chooses to accept that. Let me know.
He said he would accept your offer, Your Honor.
Sir, how do you plead to the charge of trespass on property after warning? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest, ma'am.
And has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
If you were on probation at the time you committed that crime, by pleading today, do you understand your probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read and sign a plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Do you have the plea form, defense counsel?
Yes. Yes, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. All right, on the misdemeanor case alone, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served, release you as to that case. Pay your court costs within 1 year. Let's talk about the out on bond. He bonded on 4-2. In case 2022 CF 365680, I'm going to revoke his release as to all counts. I will give him a new condition of pretrial release with drug testing to begin anytime 1 month after his release.
Your Honor, can we do drug tests and do PTR?
Yes.
Drug tests and do PTR?
Okay, testing, so on the 2022 CF 3656.
Drug tests and do PTR.
Yes.
Okay. And you're putting him on PTR and drug testing to PTR.
No,
Thank
just
you.
drug tests and do PTR.
Oh, no, I'm putting him on PTR.
Yeah, so, okay.
Let me see, Your Honor, because we have to verify. Let me.
So your revoke bond. And he's put on PTR with drug testing.
He won't qualify because of the, okay, so just release ROR with drug testing for PTR.
Drug testing.
Okay, so you're revoking the bond.
Giving him a new condition of ROR with drug testing through PTR.
Thank you.
Sorry, I know things were changed in the past.
Your Honor, also with regard to the theft offenses, can I ask that he have a no return?
Sure. Mr. Taver, you cannot return to the scene of the crime, those stores. All right, I'm going to move on to Mr. White's case, Jerron White. Mr. White, 2022 CF 6531. You were arrested for a crime of petty theft with 2 or more prior convictions. I find probable cause. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? I'll appoint the public defender. I'll stay the bonds, no return to the scene of the crime. That concludes your case this morning. Thank you, sir.
But he also has,
Oh, wait, he has another. I don't see it.
no, Judge, there are conditions for no contact.
I'm okay with no return.
Okay, just no return.
I'm going to do no contact as well. Sorry about that.
Okay.
The next person I'm addressing is Jesse Williams.
Bonded, Your Honor.
Okay. He should have had a on-view hold. Latoya Wilson.
Refuse, Your Honor.
I'll appoint a public defender in 2022 CF 6862. I'll stay both those bonds. I find probable cause. Let's go ahead and go to the arraignment docket. 2022 MM 264AW. The first person is Cyrus Thomas Jackson Allen.
Medical, Your Honor.
What's the offer on this case, State?
Adjudication of guilt, court time served, no return to the Walmart at 10500 West Colonial Drive. There's also a cost of investigation of $92.82 to the Ocoee PD.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender. I'll reset this case since it's a time-served offer. The defendant has no time on this because the summons was unserved. So do you want me to have defendant remand, how do you want me to, if defendant is still in jail?
Yes, Your Honor.
What else is holding him? Does anybody know?
He's here on a felony possession of fentanyl and possession of drug paraphernalia as well.
PD's office, do you want me, since I just appointed you, do you want me to have him remanded on this case so he can get time and I'll give him a $100 bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to have him remanded in 2022 MM264AW per defense's or attendance request. Set bond in the amount of $100. Recall tomorrow. The next person I have is Jean Dumoulin Antone with attorney Gary Schwartz. Sir, you're here for a charge of resisting officer without violence. Your attorney is not present. Where's Mr. Antone?
Your Honor, he's medical.
All right, go ahead and enter a plea of not guilty. Pretrial conference in Division 85, please.
Will be July 11th at 10:30.
Thank you. After that, I have Ellen Knight, 2022 MM245AO. Hey, I'm sorry, strike that, AA. Mr. Knight, you were arrested. You don't have any time on this charge. You're here for a crime of petty theft. State, what's the offer?
Adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to the Dollar General at 827 East Cimarron Boulevard. There's a cost of investigation of $124 to the Apopka PD.
Okay, so it's an adjudication offer because you're not in on this case. You would owe court cost and no return and cost of investigation. Do you need a public defender? Do you plan to represent yourself or hire your own attorney?
Public defender.
I'll appoint a public defender. It's an adjudication with those conditions.
He needs print.
Yes, we're going to enter a plea of not guilty as 2 other open petty thefts, so we're looking at a global plea, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll enter a plea of not guilty. He's not in on this charge. How do you want me to proceed?
I'd ask that you set a bond, you revoke and or remand him on this case and set up a $100 bond like you did on the other case, Your Honor, so he can get time.
I'll go ahead and do that. Remand, set bond at 100.
Are we going to set
Did we get
up?
Court date, please.
Okay, this be heard in Division 85. Pretrial conference date will be July 11th at 9 a.m.
July 11th at 9 a.m. The next person is Julius Miles. He has a public defender in 3275AO. Are you
Yes.
Mr. Miles?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. You're here for a crime of trespass in an occupied structure or refusal to leave. Defense counsel, how do you want to proceed?
We're going to enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, is this the only thing holding him?
No, Your Honor. He has other
Plea of-
cases.
Plea of not guilty, Division 83, please.
The pretrial conference date, June 27th at 8:30.
June 27th, thank you. After Mr. Miles, I have Teron Thomas.
Medical, Your Honor.
Enter a plea of not guilty, Public Defender's Office. Is this the
Yes.
only thing holding him?
No, Your Honor, he has another.
Division
Yes.
82, please.
Pretrial conference date, July 26th at 9 a.m.
Robert Woody is next.
Medical, Your Honor.
Is this the only thing holding him, defense?
Yes, Your Honor, but I'm not sure he'd be able to come, but we can reset for tomorrow. Yes, they're restricted usually due to COVID, so I'm not sure they're gonna bring him, Your Honor.
Do you have any, if this is the only thing holding him, do you have any or tennis motions?
What case are we addressing, Your Honor?
Robert Woody?
What case number? Because he's here on 2 cases.
Oh, he has 2 cases. 2022 MO 623AO.
Also here on a petty theft as well.
Enter a plea of not guilty, Division 62, please.
Pretrial conference date, July 7th at 9 a.m.
July 7th, thank you. Anything else? Anything else?
No, Judge, I just have some cleanup.
Anything else over at BRC? Anybody in holding pattern?
No. 2 cases?
No, Your Honor.
Oh.
I know the feedback is awful.
I had 2 cases. The first is Joel Ortega, 22 MM 4005. And
He bonded.
Bonded.
And then I had a second case, Gustavo Devora, 22 CF 6529.
Looks like he's, I don't know if he's bonded, but he already has a future court date on June 27th.
Thank you.
I have a case, Anita Rodriguez. You want the jail number? I'm sorry. Okay. Wow. No, I'm sorry, I'm still looking.
Last name, Danielle?
Rodriguez, I'm looking for the affidavit.
First name?
Oh, Rodriguez,
Oh, the first name?
Anita Marie Rodriguez.
Bonded.
Bonded, I don't have it, that's right. And also, Ramiro Soto.
Is that the last name together, or?
No, the last name is Soto.
So, and what's the first name?
Ramiro.
Bonded.
I don't know. And Suazo, Damian Suazo. PT. And Siyama, Shohei Siyama. Both of them have PTRs?
And Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Showcase was for that, you didn't know contact.
Right.
What was the case name and number?
Case 2022 MM 400680, battery.
I'll order no contact.
Thank you.
Okay, and for the Damien Suazo system without violence and petty theft, do not return to the scene of offense. Danielle, I'm ready.
Oh, thank you.
Anything else from clerks, corrections, PD, or state?
Nothing from the state.
Thank you, everybody. Court will be adjourned over at BRC. Thank you. It's always nice to work with you. I'm disconnecting.
Just need this one signed. Thank you.
Okay, we are now live on YouTube. Mr. Arroyo, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señor Arroyo, ¿puede usted escuchar y entender a la intérprete?
Sí, sí.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Arroyo, sir, you're charged in warrant number 2022 WA 09501 with committing the offense of criminal trespass.
Señor Arroyo, a usted se le acusa en la orden de arresto 2022 WA 09501 con el delito de invasión o daños a la propiedad.
I've set the bond at $3,000 for that offense.
Y yo le fijé la fianza a $3,000 por ese delito.
You're charged in warrant number 2022 WA09502 with committing the offense of stalking.
Y se le acusa en la orden de arresto 2022 WA 09502 del delito de persecución ilícita.
I've set the bond at $5,000 for that offense.
Y por ese delito le fijé su fianza a $5,000.
There's going to be a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from a Tanya Jimenez. Do you understand that?
Y va a haber una orden de alejamiento en su fianza que dice que tiene que mantenerse completamente alejado de Tania Jiménez. ¿Entiende usted esto?
Sí, entiendo, pero...
Yes, I understand.
If you violate this stay away provision, you could be charged with a felony offense and be placed in jail with no bond.
Si usted incumple, o sea, si usted no cumple con su orden de alejamiento, a usted le podrían poner cargos por delitos graves y tendría que permanecer en la cárcel sin fianza.
Sí, está bien, lo acepto.
Yes, that's fine. I'll take it.
I've set a preliminary hearing date for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning.
Yo le fijé su audiencia preliminar para el día 28 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
¿Cómo dijo?
What did you say?
I've set a preliminary hearing date for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning.
Yo le programé su audiencia preliminar para el día 28 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
¿Ese día voy a salir o cómo?
That day I'm going to be released, or how is that?
No, sir.
No, señor.
That is a date that has been set in the future in case you are not able to post bond.
Esta es una audiencia que se está programando en el futuro en caso de que usted no pueda pagar su fianza.
Okay.
If you post bond today, you can be released today.
Y si usted paga su fianza en el día de hoy, a usted lo podrían en libertad en el día de hoy.
Libre el día de hoy, todos los 5 y los 3,000.
So today the 5 and the 3,000?
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
The June 28th date will be waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive a new court date in the mail.
La audiencia del día 28 de junio se cancela tan pronto usted pague su fianza y salga y usted recibiría un nuevo citatorio por correo.
Okay. Y si en caso de que no pueda pagar.
And in case that I'm not able to pay?
Yes, sir.
I guess, Judge, that was the question. What about in case that I can pay?
Then he will be released. Okay, I'm not understanding the question.
Your Honor, it seems like his question is, what about in case that he cannot pay his bond?
Then he will have that June 28th preliminary hearing date.
Entonces usted tendría la audiencia el día 28 de junio. La audiencia preliminar.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Arroyo, you're entitled to a lawyer. Would you like for me to appoint you a lawyer or you plan on hiring your own lawyer?
Señora Arroyo, usted tiene el derecho de tener un abogado. ¿Usted
Sí.
quiere que yo le nombre un abogado o usted está planeando contratar su propio abogado?
Yo pienso que es que no sé, tal vez pueda hacer eso o tal vez no. No me he comunicado con mis familiares últimamente, entonces no sé si pueden pagar eso o tal vez no.
The thing is that I have not been able to get in touch with my family lately, so I don't know if they're going to be able to pay this or not.
I'm going to ask the question one more time, and it's a yes or no answer. Do you want me to appoint you a lawyer or not?
Le voy a hacer la pregunta una vez más, y es una pregunta de sí o no. ¿Quiere usted que yo le nombre un abogado? ¿Sí o no?
Sí, por favor.
Yes, please.
Are you currently working, Mr. Arroyo?
Actualmente, ¿está usted trabajando, señor Arroyo?
Sí.
Yes.
About how much do you make per hour?
Más o menos, ¿cuánto gana usted por hora?
Como 18.
About 18.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Usted,
Now, go ahead, I'm sorry.
usted sí califica y yo le voy a nombrar un abogado para que lo represente.
Now, I'm going to advise you of certain rights that you have, okay?
Ahora yo le voy a decir cuáles son los derechos que usted tiene. ¿Está bien?
¿Está bien?
That's fine.
During this and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence.
Durante este y todos los procesos siguientes, usted tiene el derecho a la presunción de inocencia,
To indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors.
a que se le formule una acusación mediante el jurado indagatorio para la mayoría de los delitos graves o que se le formule una acusación para los delitos menores.
And you're charged with misdemeanors in this instance.
Y en este caso a usted se le acusa de delitos menores.
You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
Usted tiene el derecho de tener un juicio público rápido y por jurado.
You have the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
Usted tiene el derecho de ver, escuchar y contrainterrogar a los testigos que sean citados a testificar en su contra.
You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf.
Usted tiene el derecho de exigir a los testigos para que testifiquen a su favor.
You have the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense.
Usted tiene el derecho de testificar y de presentar pruebas para ser usadas en su defensa.
You have the right to an attorney to represent you, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Usted tiene el derecho de tener un abogado para que lo represente y si usted no puede contratarse su propio abogado, se le podría nombrar uno si usted califica.
Está bien.
And in this case, I have appointed a lawyer to represent you.
Y en este caso, yo le he nombrado un abogado para que lo represente.
Okay.
If you and your family decide to hire your own lawyer, just tell the appointed lawyer that you've hired your own lawyer, and then you can go with whomever you choose.
Si usted y su familia deciden contratarse su propio abogado, solamente dígale al abogado que usted tiene y usted y su familia pueden ir con el abogado que usted elija.
Okay. No tengo ningún abogado.
No, I don't have an attorney.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Arroyo?
¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta para mí, señor Arroyo?
Sí, si pago los $8,000, ¿ya puedo salir libre o?
Yes, if I pay the $8,000, can I be released and go free?
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
¿Y el caso se queda cerrado o todavía sigue el caso abierto?
And the case will close or the case will continue to be open?
The case will continue to be open. It will move to the next step, which is the State Court of Clayton County.
El caso continuaría abierto y pasaría al próximo paso, el cual sería enviarlo al Tribunal Estatal del Condado de Clayton.
Okay.
Any other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
Sí, pero ¿cómo puedo comunicarme con mis familiares para que paguen eso o tratemos de pagarlo?
How can I get in touch with my family so they can pay that or we can try to pay it?
After this proceeding, you will be allowed to use a phone. However, that will be at the direction of the Clayton County Sheriff's Department.
Después de esta audiencia, usted va a poder usar el teléfono. Sin embargo, esto va a ser siguiendo las instrucciones de la cárcel del condado de Clayton.
Sí, lo sé.
Yes, I know.
Okay, sir. If you don't have any other questions, you're free to go back.
Okay, señor. Si no tiene ninguna otra pregunta, puede retirarse.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for both the male and female side, do we need anybody else for Ms. Bermudez services? Does anyone need an interpreter?
We don't need on the female side, Your Honor.
Okay. And none on the male side.
That's correct, Your Honor. None on the male side.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bermudez, you can be excused. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. You do as well.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I'm married.
Oh, okay, so let's start the regular course. So can we have both people on camera? Okay, good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: to the presumption of innocence, to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, to a speedy and public trial by jury, to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, and to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds, that's tough for me to say, for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you can remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You'll receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Finally, would everyone please raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm any statements you make during this proceeding shall be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Okay, let's begin on the ladies' side with Miss Beach. Miss Beach, ma'am, you've been charged with one count of family violence battery and one count of disorderly house. I've set a $5,000 bond on the family violence battery charge, and I've set a $1,000 bond on a disorderly house charge. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond, a stay away from a Tyra Lewis and a Tyron Lewis. Do you understand that? I'm sorry, ma'am.
You're not touching the TV, Dwayne. I stay in the household.
Okay. I do understand that. And Mr. Lewis is going to have a stay away provision to stay away from you. The basis of the disorderly house charge is that the police have been called to this house 1, 2, 3, 4 times this year because of incidents and disputes. So because it appears that the 3 of you can't live in the same house without getting into a fight, you're not going to be able to live in the same house. Okay? So I do understand that. I don't understand ownership of the house or anything like that. I'm not trying to break all of that stuff down, but it appears that because of all of these calls to the police to break up fights within a home with an adult, with adults, y'all just can't live together. Okay? So do you understand the stay away provision with Tyra Lewis and Tyron Lewis? Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you will get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am. Let's call up Miss Davis. Miss Davis, ma'am, you've been charged with unlawful removal of baggage from a cargo area, basically taking, ma'am, please, I'm going to let you speak, okay? Basically, the allegation is that you're at the airport and you took a bag that didn't belong to you. That's a misdemeanor offense. I'm setting the bond at $5,000. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm a lawyer, a judge, a doctor, a teacher. Also, I know the law. Did you know?
Okay, ma'am, I just placed you on mute. You're just talking to yourself. You're really just talking to yourself. So if you cannot comport yourself with court, you are going to be removed. All right, so she's going to represent herself. Let's bring up Miss Lewis. Are you Miss Tyra Lewis?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, but the way that the charge is written, it doesn't meet the elements of the offense, so I'm dismissing this charge. So when the jail receives this, you will be released. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's bring up Miss Brittany Smith.
I'm sorry, what was her name?
The last person?
Yes.
It was Tyra, T-Y-R-A Lewis.
Lewis.
Yes, and there is a Tyron Lewis on the male side.
And then when we get to the male side, we have an attorney who's trying to log on, okay?
Okay. Let's see. Are you Brittany Smith?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Smith, you're charged with 1 count of running a red light and 1 count of driving on a suspended license. There's going to be a $500 bond set on the red light violation. There's going to be a $1,500 bond set on driving on a suspended license. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. All right, it looks like you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, you're free to go back, ma'am. So the next person I have is Tonisha Smith, but it looks from the calendar that she was that she went to first appearance on June 1st. Are you Tonisha Smith?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to first appearance on June 1st?
I did. They had it on the phone.
Okay. So
I heard you say this is the extra chapter.
okay, hold on one second, man. Okay, were you given a bond at that time, ma'am?
I wasn't. They said I had a bond hearing on the 24th.
Which time is left on the timer? Is that right?
Okay, so you were denied bond.
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like your next hearing is going to be the bond hearing date on the 24th, and you shouldn't have been brought here today. Okay, all right. You're free to go back. You're welcome. Okay, we have Tracy.
Coming over.
Is that?
Your Honor, we're just gonna leave it on mute. As soon as we're done, I'll take Ms. Davis back.
Okay. Okay. Let's bring up on the male side, Mr. Ohome, O-H-O-M-E. Yes, Ms. Mary?
Judge, what about this woman here? Is this a fugitive?
Yes, these are both fugitives. This is Miss Tracy James. Okay. Miss James and Mr. Ohome, you're both charged with the same thing, with being what we call a fugitive from justice. And what that basically means is that there's a warrant for your arrest out of another state, and that we have a duty to contact that other state and ask them if they want to extradite you. And in both of your situations, they've said that they will. Now, I'm going to give you a general outline of how this thing works, and then I'm going to ask both of you some questions. So you both have a right to challenge this warrant or these warrants. And what that basically means is that you're saying you're either not the person named in the warrant, or you don't believe a warrant exists, or that if it exists, it does not lay out proper charges. If you were to make that request sometime between now and 90 days, there will be a hearing before a judge in the Magistrate Court of Clayton County to determine, one, if you are the person named in the warrant, and two, if the warrant lays out sufficient facts. If that's the case, then the judge will sign off on a writ that will allow, I'll get to you in a second, Mr. Dobson, that will allow you to be extradited. If the judge signs off on that warrant at the end of that hearing, the requesting jurisdiction, which in your case, Ms. James, is Jefferson County, Missouri. In your case, Mr. Ohome, is looks like it says Collin County Sheriff's Office on a probation violation. Then you will be, they will have 30 days to come and get you. That 30-day period can be extended once to up to 60 days. If they do not come and get you within the time period, you will be released out of the front door. However, if you're released out of the front door, it doesn't negate the warrant. The warrant is still valid. So if you walk out the front door, you encounter law enforcement within 5 minutes from walking out the front door, this process will start all over again. So for you, Ms. James, well, before I get to that, you also have the ability to waive that first hearing. And so if you believe you are the person named in the warrant, and if you believe that the warrant is valid, you can waive that 90-day period. And now the clock begins to run on a 30 up to 60-day period today. In any event, no matter how you choose to proceed, I would encourage each of you to get lawyers in the whatever jurisdiction it's in, so that those lawyers can help you, because there's nothing that we can do here as to your guilt or innocence. We're just holding you for the jurisdiction that is requesting you. I have seen, especially in this pandemic time, where if you have a lawyer and the lawyer is able to speak to the district attorney or prosecutor in that jurisdiction, depending on the charge, they may work something out and set a new court date with the understanding that you're going to appear. And so I've had situations where a person appeared before me on Wednesday, and by Friday, I was getting an order to release them because they had hired a lawyer and the lawyer did what the lawyer is supposed to do. So, Ms. James, the allegation here is that you have a warrant out of Jefferson County, Missouri for possession of a controlled substance, and they've indicated that they will extradite. Do you understand what I've said so far, ma'am?
Yes, sir. And so that means
Do you have any questions? And okay, do you wish to and just answer yes or no, because we're having the background noise. Do you wish to waive, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so once you sign the waivers, they will send them over to me. I will sign them, and then that clock starts to run today. But I do encourage you to try to get a lawyer.
I have a lawyer. I just haven't been able to use the phone really yet. So
Okay.
To contact him.
Okay, so you will have an opportunity to use a phone soon. I would contact the lawyer, let the lawyer know, because the lawyer may be able to work something out up there where you're released from here. And I don't know whether they're doing things by Zoom or not, but if they're doing it by Zoom, you may not even have to travel to Missouri. Okay, so sign the waivers, and then you'll be free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. O'Holm. Can we unmute Mr. O'Holm? Okay, Mr. O'Holm, sir, you're charged in this warrant with, looks like it says a probation violation from a fraud charge out of, and it's hard to read the handwriting. It looks like it's COLIN County Sheriff's Office. Have you heard and understood everything that I've said so far?
Can you explain that waive part? The waive?
Okay. So if you believe that you are the person named in the warrant, and if you believe that the warrant is valid, you can waive that initial hearing to determine whether you are the person named and whether it's valid. If you don't want to do that, you can have the hearing. We have no interest in whether you waive or not. If you waive, it generally speeds up the process. But that's a choice that you have to make based upon your own circumstances. I don't know, do you have a lawyer in any other jurisdiction?
I have a lawyer?
Yes, sir. Do you have a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would contact that lawyer and have that lawyer kind of work on your behalf. Do you have any other questions about anything that I've said?
Well, so what type of lawyer exactly would I need to do what you said when you said I could leave and show up at court?
Okay, it would be a criminal defense lawyer, same lawyer, type of lawyer that represented you, I'm presuming, in the underlying charge.
All right.
And if you have questions, my sole job here is to answer your questions. So if you're not understanding what I'm saying, please ask questions.
Yes, sir.
So do you have questions? Do you know if you want to waive the hearing or do you want to have the hearing?
I want to waive it.
Okay. So they have paperwork there. Once you sign the paperwork, they're going to send it to me and I'll sign it, and that clock begins to run today. But the same way that I informed Ms. James, it's in your best interest to get a lawyer as quickly as possible, so that you may be able to, get yourself out of here and either walk into court when you're dealing with this or be able to appear by Zoom. Okay, sir?
Okay, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. Once he signs, he's free to go back. Mr. Dobson, who's your client?
Good morning, Your Honor. My client is Christopher Hurd.
Christopher Hurd. After Mr. O'Holmes signs the waiver, can we bring up Mr. Christopher Hurd?
Yes, sir. Does the 30 days start now?
It starts today. Yes, sir.
All right. Hurd, right here.
So, Mr. Dodson, I always go through this early in the morning. I set initial bond amounts.
Yes, sir.
But I always hear from the lawyer as it relates to the client or the circumstances of the case. So the initial bond amount in this case is $5,000 for the battery and $1,500 for the disorderly conduct. And there's going to be a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from an Andre White.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may be heard on that.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Mr. Hurd, you have taken advantage of the opportunity to hire a lawyer. So I'm although I would normally speak to you, I'm going to speak to your lawyer here today. You have a right to say whatever you want to say, but it's generally not a good idea because nothing you say here is private or privileged. So I wouldn't say anything I wouldn't want the whole world to know. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Dobson, go ahead, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may just give you a little bit of quick background on Mr. Hurd, and also just give you a brief synopsis of the incident itself, because I think that's very, very important, particularly in light of the fact that he was charged with a domestic violence battery, I believe. However, this was from a car accident between two complete strangers. Have no idea why they labeled it as domestic violence. He doesn't know this gentleman, had never seen him before the accident. That day. And we've been trying to get him to resolve that ever since, he turned himself in yesterday, but we've been trying to find out why they listed it as a domestic violence. Online, they actually initially listed it as a simple battery. Then it said something about school personnel, which is what accident was not at a school either. And then it was listed, my understanding is it's listed as domestic violence. He does not know this Mr. Andre White, I believe is his name. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I have the accident report here, Your Honor, and they are complete strangers. There is no familial or any other close relationship. And if I may, Your Honor, just Mr. Hurd is 47 years old. He has 3 children. He's married. One of his children is disabled with special needs. And in the accident, he and his entire family were in the car. The gentleman, Mr. White, made an improper left turn. He was cited at the accident for it and hit them, causing serious injury to Mr. Hurd as well as to his children. His children were bleeding at the time of the accident. He managed to get out of the car. He walked over to the other car to ask them if they were okay and ask them what was going on, what happened. When he tried to ask the gentleman that, the gentleman actually cursed him, and then at that point they're scuffling. That's how the whole contact came into play. But Your Honor, also please understand that Mr. Hurd, who has Mr. Hurd has several disc herniations as a result of the accident. He actually suffered a traumatic head injury, a concussion at the time of the accident. When he got out of the car, he sees his kids bleeding. He's dizzy. He goes over to find out how the other people are doing, and then he's confronted in a very confrontational manner by Mr. White, a gentleman he's never seen and did not know. That's how all of that came about. They actually released him and allowed him to take himself to the doctor. I'm sorry, it might have been were you transported from the scene, Mr. Hurd?
By ambulance, yes.
He was transported from the scene by ambulance, and that is reflected on, looking at the accident report, that is reflected on the report. And then he was just told to turn himself back in. But as a result of the accident, he has several disc herniations. He's looking at back, neck surgery, and he has a closed head injury as well. He has no criminal history whatsoever. He does not know this gentleman. He's the sole breadwinner for his family. He, his wife, and his 3 children that were in the car with him at the time all suffered significant injuries, and all are currently under medical care at this point in time. In light of all of this and his lack of a history, Your Honor, I would ask the court to strongly reconsider the bonds that were set for them. I would submit to the court that Mr. Hurd, as he doesn't even know this gentleman, and like I said, it was just a scuffle at the scene between the two of them, kind of like grabbing each other or something to that effect. In light of all of that, I would ask the court to consider a signature bond, because at this point in time, Mr. Hurd is not going to be able to work and support his family for months, and any cash bond is going to work a significant hardship on him. And be very candid with the court, I'm having to work with Mr. Hurd because of the circumstances to represent him. I feel like he needs representation, and I'm very sympathetic to his plight. While I'm not condoning violence or anything of that nature, under those circumstances, Judge, I would submit to the court that this barely rises to the level of a crime, if at all, of any sort of a criminal charge. And there was some debate about whether or not they wouldn't charge him with anything at the scene. Mr. Hurd has significant ties to the community. He's a member of Atlanta Christian Worship Center. I believe that's ran by Miss Lucinda Jolly. It used to be run by Bishop Ronnie L. James. He lives not far from the area. I believe down in Stockbridge. He's not a risk. He's not a flight risk. He's not a risk to commit other crimes. He has no criminal record. And also, Judge, I would also point out he's a long distance truck driver. He has to travel throughout the country driving his truck. So even these charges jeopardize his livelihood. And he's not going to be able to work for months because he's going to have back and neck surgery as a result of the accident.
Okay, Mr. Dobson, I've taken all of that into account. I'm going to set a $2,500 bond on simple battery and a $1,000 bond on disorderly conduct. I'm going to keep the stay away provision in place as it relates to Mr. White. Currently there's a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning. However, that date will get waived upon his bonding out, and he'll receive a new court date in the mail. Do you have anything else for me, Mr. Dobson?
Your Honor, is the bond amount, is that something that is a program available for, or is that going to be just a cash bond?
Well, I mean, we call it cash, commercial, or property. There's no program available. So you can go through a bonding company, he can put up property, or he can pay cash. If he puts up property, the property has to have a value. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Your Honor. Well, thank you for your time and for the reduction.
Thank you. Mr. Hurd, you are free to go back. And Mr. Dobson, you can be excused, sir.
Your Honor, and if I may just advise Mr. Hurd, I will be contacting his wife immediately to let her know the results of the court. And with that being said, may I be excused?
Yes, sir.
All right. Contact me, Mr. Hurd, as soon as you get out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Let's
Have a
bring
good
up Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
You want me to, oh, there he goes.
You're next.
Mr. Anderson, sir, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery and 1 count of criminal trespass. I'm gonna set a $2,500 bond on the simple battery and a $3,000 bond on the criminal trespass. I'm also gonna place a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Cynthia Anderson. Do you understand that, sir?
I have a question for that, sir.
I'm gonna let you ask the questions at the end, and if I need to change anything, I will, I promise. But I have to get everything out. So when I start and stop, I may forget something. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning. That's gonna be in courtroom 201, most likely by Zoom, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You, about how much you make per hour?
I haven't started the job yet, but
Okay.
I've just been placed on the work schedule. I just haven't started for any hours. He hasn't put me on the schedule for any hours yet.
Okay, I'm going to find that you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, what was it you wanted to tell me?
My car title from the arresting officer from Marlwood Police Department still has my car title, and that was on my person. She just never gave it back to me for my property.
It's in one of two places. It's either in property at Morrow or it's in property at the sheriff's department. If she didn't log it in at the sheriff's department, it's in property or in evidence or property at Morrow Police Station.
Would that be able to come back to me on my property here?
I'm sorry, sir.
Would that be able to be transferred back over here to my property?
No, most likely you will have to get it from the Morrow Police Department.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
I was just making sure my car title was where it was supposed to be.
Okay. You're free to go back, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Belk?
Brown.
Mr. Belk, sir, you're charged with 1 count of misdemeanor marijuana possession. The bond is set at $1,500. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Could you repeat that again? Qualify for what?
For the appointment of a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Kendall Brown. Mr. Brown, sir, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm going to set a bond at $15,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Robert Brown and Tammy Brown. Do you understand that?
Sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 27th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201, because this is a felony offense. That date will be waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, you're on the edge, but I'm going to find that you do qualify. Do you have any questions for me?
Sir, I don't know.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Charleston.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Charleston, sir, you're charged with 4 driving related offenses. 1 count is defective headlights. Bond is going to be set at $500. The second count is failure to change the address on your license. Bond is also going to be set at $500. The third count is open container violation. Bond is going to be set at $500. I'm sorry. And finally, driving a vehicle on a suspended license, bond is going to be set at $1,500. Because these are all misdemeanor offenses, your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay. You're going to hire your own?
No,
Or you're going to represent yourself?
Represent myself.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
What was the total?
Let's see. $3,000.
Okay.
All right. You're free to go back, sir. Mr. Johnson.
Lewis. Control. Let's go, man.
He's coming up, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, sir, you're charged with one count of reckless conduct. That's a misdemeanor offense. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. You're charged with one count of simple battery on a police officer. That's also a misdemeanor offense. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. And finally, you're charged with criminal damage to property in the second degree, which is a felony offense. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. Because you have this felony charge, your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 27th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
What? So you said what?
I'm sorry, sir?
You said appointment of what?
A lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Lewis? Mr. Lewis, sir, you're charged with one count of criminal trespass. This is a misdemeanor offense. Bond is going to be set at $3,000. You're also charged with one count of disorderly house. Bond is going to be set at $1,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Lysandra Beach. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I guess. I don't know, because it's in my home. I'm just standing in the doorway, so I'm a parent of two children, so
Okay. I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
And so I was just filling it out because he handed me, I put in the left-hand column, refusal.
Okay, so the answer to my question is no, correct?
No, sir. No, sir. Yes, no.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? Or I cut you off, Mr. Lewis. Finish the statement that you were making.
I just can't stop him from calling you guys. Past 6 months, I've been there 5 years. So I don't know what to do. It's disorderly house, but she keeps calling because she's already been evicted. So she's been evicted. Judge Khalil, Ms. Hill signed it, and it started back in January. But I can't get out, so she's doing this to try to. I don't know, because she's already been evicted, but they got to come put her out. So I can't stop her from calling you guys. Every call on there was from her. She's never been touched, never been hit, never been bruised, but every call is, oh, help. And then when they get there, she turns it into talking. So she's never been touched, never been hurt ever. But she's called more than in my whole life. I'm 54, and she's only coming in December. So I don't get it. She keeps calling. I don't touch her. God knows I'm not trying to. I'm 6'6". My daughter's 6'2". We was only standing in the door. And she had a knife, so my daughter just got stabbed up. I didn't touch her. I just want to make sure she didn't hurt my child. So I don't know what to do. She can keep doing the same. She was here all night with the officers beating on the doors, beating on the windows, cursing them out. So she won't even behave in here. I don't know what to do. And you could ask the officers in the holding intake, even the guys in here. She was attacking all night, banging on the doors, screaming. And she does that in my home. And I have video of her stealing. I have video of her fighting me, but they don't do nothing. They say I need to get her out of my home because I should never let a stranger come in. True, but she needed a place and she only stayed 2 weeks, but I did the eviction process. I did the $75 and the $25. Judge Hill signed it, but she's just acting a fool in my home. I don't do nothing. That's why she do what she do. We're not trying to harm her, Your Honor. She walk past us every day. I work every day. We're not even trying to hurt her. But every so often she'll push something and run in the room. And that's wrong. I don't know what to do. But my daughter's been hurt. She's been stabbed up and she had that knife on her. My daughter's gonna hopefully, I'm trying to get her something at the police department because my daughter's scared that she may do something to her. And she's getting evicted. So that's why she's doing what she's doing. I don't know what else to do. I can't stop her from calling the police.
So is this house in your name? It's not a leasing situation, is it? Is this your house?
No, it's a lease purchase. It's a lease purchase, sir.
Okay.
I'm going to purchase it at the end of this year. Hopefully, I've been there 5 years, and that was the agreement. After 5 years, and then he saves some off of my rent every month, and that'll go toward me buying the house at the end of the year.
Okay. So the stay away provision relates to a person, not a place. If this is your home, then she's going to be in a situation of not being able to stay there. Give me 1 second. Okay.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, she's been evicted. You just got a backlog of 3 months. It's been, we down to 2 months.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes, sir.
I'm painfully aware of our backlog.
Sorry about that.
No, okay. I'm going to remove the stay away provision as it relates to Ms. Beach for you. So what that means is that you can go back to your home.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're free to go.
What was the total on the bottom? Sorry.
$4,000.
All right, thank you, sir.
Mr. Norris.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Norris, sir, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I'm going to set a bond at $3,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away. Actually, bond's going to be set at $4,000. Based upon what they said, the allegation, they could have charged you with, I think, with arson, but we'll leave that neither here nor there. There's going to be a stay away provision on this $4,000 bond to stay away from Vicky Kennedy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201, because this is a misdemeanor offense. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, Your Honor, I'll get my own.
Okay, do you have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Mr. Oloyede.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you're charged with 2 driving related offenses. Not having or driving while unlicensed, the bond is going to be set at $1,000. And driving a vehicle with no tail lights, bond is going to be set at $500. These are two misdemeanor offenses, so your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Pritchett.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Pritchett, sir, you're charged with one count of misdemeanor theft by taking. The bond is set at $2,000. There's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do qualify, Mr. Pritchett. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back. Mr. Ross? Mr. Ross, so you're charged with one count of interference with custody. I'm going to set the bond at $2,500 for that offense, and one count of obstructing or hindering law enforcement. I'm going to set the bond at $2,500 for a total bond of $5,000. These are both misdemeanor offenses, so you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, about the why the bond so high, because I mean what I was charged with don't fit what happened.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to let you talk about the facts.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just, only thing I want to say that I didn't even, I mean, all right, you're right, because it will be facts.
Yes, sir. So the allegation of interference with child custody, it brings a whole lot of stuff into play.
Yeah, I mean, like,
hold on.
I'm sorry.
You asked me the reason.
Right.
Okay. So and then when the police arrived, their allegation is that you didn't open the door for them.
Yeah, I didn't know they were at the door.
Okay.
And I didn't hear them.
Okay.
I told them I was in the bedroom.
Okay. So with the interference with custody, and I'm not asking, hold on, I'm not asking you to comment on it. The presumption that I have is that there was an agreement that was put in place that everybody said they were going to follow the agreement. Okay. Well,
I didn't, what happened was I didn't know.
Don't do that.
Okay.
So I've appointed a lawyer to represent you. Okay.
I see them today.
Probably not today, but I don't know. What I understand of how they're doing visitation now is that once they get notice that they're representing you, they try to set up a call with you on like the little video thing.
Okay.
And then that's when they start gathering information and facts. So this bond amount is going to be probably about $700 through a bonding company. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to keep the interference with child custody at $2,500. I'm going to reduce the obstruction down to $1,000. I know that's probably not what you want, but it's moving in the right direction. But speak to your lawyer about whatever took place and let your lawyer defend you, okay?
I will.
All right, you're free to go back. Mr. Stroud? Mr. Stroud, sir, you're charged with 1 count of running a red light. The bond is going to be set at $500 for that. And 1 count of driving on a suspended license. The bond is set by schedule, which means it's automatically set at $1,500. Because these are both misdemeanors, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir, I got a comment.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Williams, sir, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault. That's a felony offense. I've set the bond at $20,000. You're also charged with 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I've set the bond at $5,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond, a stay away from a Delzoria Williams. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, my mama who told a story on me. Yes.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 27th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, I can ask you a question, sir.
It's as soon as I get to the point where I ask, do you have any questions? Okay, so you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, what was your question?
How long I gotta stay in him? That's what I wanted to know.
If you post bond today, you get out today.
But if I don't,
then you'll have a preliminary hearing date set for June 27th.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
All right.
Mr. Willis.
How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing well, Mr. Willis. It looks like you're charged twice with the same.
It was a warrant, and that was a mistake that they told me to make sure when I got in front of you, they written a warrant for my arrest. And when they arrived, there was some new officers who had been there. I guess they told me less than 3 months. So they wrote up what they was coming for the warrant for, and it got listed as 2 charges instead of just the warrant. But they literally was coming to get me to serve the warrant. That's all that was. And she just did the paperwork while we was at the precinct in Riverdale. So you had one officer who actually
hold on, stop, Mr. Willis. Okay. If you had let me finish, I just said what you just told me.
My apologies, sir.
Okay. So it looks like you were charged twice for the same incident. One on what we call a WA and one on what we call a warrant, which is a CW. I'm going to, for your purposes, Miss Mary, I'm dismissing the WA. I'm going to proceed on the warrant number 2022 CW 52733, charging Mr. Willis with battery on a pregnant person. I'm going to set the bond at $20,000 for that offense. There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond, a stay away from a Tiffany Hartsfield. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 28th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, me and my significant other live together, so I'm trying to see like how does that work. And also, I've never, I didn't put my hands on this individual, nor have I ever had any type of violent charge whatsoever. So I'm trying to see like what can we do with that? She's became emotionally distressed and wanted to call the police because she is pregnant. And like, we didn't have these type of problems before she got pregnant. Ever since she got pregnant, something doesn't go her way, she immediately goes from 0 to 100. There's no in between. And it's just this time she ended up calling the police. Like, and this is my first child, never had a child before, don't have any desire to hurt her, put my arms on her. She's high risk pregnancy. And I literally have to be with her every day under doctor's order. Like, she cannot be alone because of her high risk pregnancy. So is there anything you could do with that stay away order? Like, if she writes an affidavit saying she's not fearful of me or anything like that, she's already tried to bomb me out because she know I did not do anything to her. And this is just one of those situations where she got mad and called the police and it went left.
Okay, so I'm not going to change the bond amount. I'm not going to change stay away provision. If this is something that she wants to get changed, she can contact the victim witness advocate at the Clayton County Solicitor General's office, and they will look into it and they'll make their own determination. But I got to tell you, if everything you said is true, you may want to wonder whether this is the way you want to live your life.
I am wondering that. This is an individual, we met kind of fairly not too long ago, and she became pregnant, within a short period of time. So it's just, me making bad decisions on that part and, learning the person who I'm dealing with throughout the pregnancy. So it's like, really don't know you that well, learning who you are, me trying to be a stand-up man and not just leave and, oh, you're pregnant, okay, whatever. This is my first child. I'm trying to be in the light at the doctor's appointments, whatever she needs. I understand when a woman get pregnant, she's gonna be erratic. She's gonna make
Mr. Willis, don't go down that road with me.
I'm just stating.
Don't go down that road with me.
Yes, sir.
The whole women are emotional kind of thing or whatever. Don't go.
I'm only saying that because I know her, but yes.
Don't. You can't imagine how many men are up here crying every day that I see, and nobody says, "Oh, men are emotional." So people have emotions. People get angry. People are happy. People have to learn how to live within both being happy and sad or angry and still acting like an adult.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
So what's the total?
$20,000.
Is that property available?
It's cash, commercial, or property.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Free to go back. Okay, that completes the calendar unless I missed someone.
No, sorry, Your Honor, that was the last bill on the outside.
Okay, thank you. I am going to fill in for Judge Knights tomorrow, so I will see you.
Thank you to all of my patrons, members, and supporters. You are the reason that I am able to upload new Bond Courts daily. All members and patrons receive access to the Bond Court Discord server. Please send me a message on Patreon or leave a comment on YouTube if you are unable to join the server. Thank you all for your support.